I'm Jonasz Rewiński. Welcome on board the Eastern Express, and as always, I hope you enjoy the journey. Espionage, sabotage, and occasionally putting poison in your underpants. Navalny will have remembered that. Russia's modus operandi has never been particularly neat or subtle to begin with, but there are signs it might be evolving. Exiled journalists complaining of mysterious illnesses could be just a start, for where Russia cannot hit back militarily, it will surely attempt to launch some cloak and dagger operation that might just make the headlines in the worst possible way. Can the Kremlin wreak havoc across EU countries by disrupting their industry, stoking tensions and subverting political processes? And more importantly, are Western agencies doing a good job stemming this tide? Let's delve deeper into today's story with our latest report.
The Washington Post has revealed that the Russian military intelligence service organized a network of operatives planning the sabotage of Polish railways, along with surveillance operations and arson. The GRU supposedly began publishing job offers earlier this year through the Telegram app. Initially, the tasks were limited to distributing flyers and signs with Russian propaganda slogans. Some of the recruits, however, were tasked with far more serious missions, including performing reconnaissance in seaports, placing concealed tracking devices in military cargo, and even derailing trains carrying weapons to Ukraine.
This is the first piece of evidence we have indicating that the Russians are trying to organize sabotage operations, even terrorist attacks, in Poland.
In the past 18 months, Poland has become a major supply hub for military assistance to Ukraine. 80% of arms and aid for Kyiv was transferred through the country. Moscow's intelligence services reportedly sought to cut that supply line or at least significantly degrade it. But the Washington Post argues the group had even more plans.
Investigators found evidence that Russia was planning other lethal operations. Recruits were allegedly given missions including assassinations.
The Polish Internal Security Agency says that while this particular network has been eliminated, the broader danger remains. Polish security services shall remain on high alert for the foreseeable future.
And now let's take a look at the issue in greater detail. We've all seen James Bond, Jason Bourne, and let's be honest, Austin Powers. But espionage is not just limited to martinis and double entendres, especially when it comes to the intrigue swirling between Russia and the European Union. Things got messier for Russia when they invaded Ukraine. Remember back in February 2022, when a chunk of Europe decided to play a game of musical chairs with Russian diplomats and left them standing. That's right, nearly 490 Russian diplomats were rejected from the European Union. Countries like Bulgaria, Poland and France. And yes, you heard that right. Bulgaria took the lead, expelling a whopping 70 of them. Now, this move essentially kneecapped the Kremlin's spy infrastructure, forcing them to rely on, seemingly ordinary Bulgarians living in the UK, perhaps? The invasion of Ukraine by Russia under Vladimir Putin has had significant repercussions for Russian espionage operations in Europe. The war and its aftermath saw a significant number of diplomats suspected to be spies operating under diplomatic cover being expelled from Europe. That is why, in recent months, there have been multiple arrests and accusations across the world of individuals seemingly living normal lives being associated with Russian intelligence activities. These individuals hail from diverse backgrounds and locations, hinting at the vast and intricate network of Russian espionage. Now, for that reason, the expulsion of diplomatic personnel which exercised espionage activities forced Russian intelligence agencies to adapt. They have had to resort to riskier, less conventional methods of spying, activating sleeper cells and relying more on unofficial agents. These agents can be from third countries, or illegals. This is the name that is actually used to designate these agents. Russians posing as citizens from other countries. The crackdown on Russian espionage has meant that it's become much harder for Russian citizens, especially those associated with intelligence agencies, to obtain visas for travel to countries such as Britain or those in the Schengen zone. Illegals are Russian operatives that pose as citizens of other countries, and traditionally they don't engage in active espionage, allowing them to blend into societies for long-term operations. Russia has been turning the spy volume up to 11 across Europe for over a decade, trying to grab info on European security, infrastructure, technology, and even spying on Russian dissidents. So basically, if you've ever sent a Snapchat while in Europe, there's probably a Russian dossier with your dog face filter in it. And now, here to shed more light on the issue at hand is our guest today, Dr. Jacek Raubo, head of the Strategic Analysis Division at Defense 24. Hello and welcome to TVP World.
Hello, thank you for the invitation.
So the activities of Russian intelligence, this is something that we have seen for quite a while, but could it be argued that there is an evolution underway? We actually have some recent reports on cases of Russian journalists living in the West being poisoned, most likely by the operatives of the Russian intelligence.
I think the only one division between the past and the present situation is lying on the number of different cases connected with Russian intelligence activity in a holistic perspective in the West. So they are open much more to risky type of actions. For instance, some direct attacks against high valuable targets, persons, and also group of people. So I think they are using the same methods, but with maybe not the change in the quality, but in the quantity, of course.
But they have seen before that when it comes to attacks against individuals, the West tended not to react too strongly. I mean, there were condemnations, there were targeted sanctions, pretty surgical ones really, but you didn't really have any accusations that this was, for example, an outright attack against a given territory, even though in the rhetorical sphere, these accusations did appear. They were leveled against Russia, for example, following the Skripal case, right? But when we look at these attacks, now we know about Elena Kostyuchenko from the Russian independent outlet Meduza, who complained of being most likely poisoned by unknown perpetrators on a train. And only after a while, after receiving treatment and luckily recuperating from that illness, did it dawn to her that she might have been poisoned. She actually described how incredulous she thought, this idea was initially, because she thought she was safe in the West. Do you think this is going to be a signal that is being sent to dissenters who are living in Western countries, who might have escaped, for example, from Russia following the invasion, that no, you're not safe at all, in fact?
I think we need to have two answers because you asked me two different questions. So first of all, I think our response being visible after the Skripal case. I'm not talking about the official situation when states put persona non grata status on the various number of Russian embassy workers, but I'm talking about the general presentation of Russian activity, intelligence activity in the West, and response coming from the behind when we talk about the countermeasures coming from counterintelligence activity. Look at the situation with a number of cases when we have heard about capturing Russian agents or destroying some important Russian sources, for instance, inside the Italian armed forces, or the situation in Bulgaria. And also we have had openly a discussion about the Verbatice case, where the Russian intelligence tried to use sabotage against
how are you doing? How's that going?
Depot, after 2013-14 aggression. So I
think
think
also happened in Bulgaria, didn't it? Bulgaria was another country where this was...
We need to be much more careful, because I think the game changer is the Skripal case. But from the other hand, I agree with you.
Not really warm.
Right
I'm
now,
disappointed.
Russia would like
but
to send information to...
How was TVP? I thought it was a really, really good video. I don't have the patience to watch it until the end. But I thought it was really, really, really good. I thought the research on the sleeper cells, I know people were kind of salty about it coming out, because we all knew about this. Like, I don't think anyone saw the research about, Russians having agents around and being like, oh, whoa, really? Who would have said so? No, I don't think anyone did that. But still is interesting into how much detail they want. Also, I have to show you something. Look what I started doing a thing on Patreon, and it got me to learn something about Croatia that I didn't know before. So I was doing this thing with it's basically a list of Russian summits with USA, and the reason why I wanted to do it is because I wanted to have a nice timeline of the West and Russian relationship, and I wanted to have it because of, I believe it was this image. I saw this post with these two like laughing around, and then it says October 1995, the first Chechen war is in full swing. And I was like, bro, you know what would be really fucking useful? To have a list, a timeline of our meetings with them, like laughing and joking around, and then also to have a timeline of all the fucking war crimes they were doing behind our back while this was ongoing. So then I collected most of the USA and Russia ones between, I think it was 1990 and 2000 exactly, because the last one is Clinton and Putin, and they actually did talk about the Chechnya war. But then I went to Wikipedia and I looked into Croatia-Russia relationship, and look at this. It literally outlines who Russian agents in Croatia were, specifically Prvo plinarsko društvo. Where is Prvo plinarsko društvo? Somewhere here. Should be written in the newer years. History, no, here it is. Prvo plinarsko društvo, here. Basically, we have INA DD, which is a Croatian multinational oil company, but Russia tried to weaken the position of the Croatian company, INA. And then INA used to be the dominant, used to be having the dominant role in the Croatian gas market, but then by 2017, Russia managed to take the dominant role instead by creating Prvo plinarsko društvo, creating and funding Prvo plinarsko društvo. It's basically a proxy for importing Gazprom's gas. I had no idea about this. Wait, let me switch to this one so you can actually see the entirety of the screen. I had no idea about this. When it comes to Croatian conversations of this, we did often have conversations about INA losing power, but never did I hear a conversation about INA losing power because of Russia. We never pointed that out in any of our political conversations about this. It was always like, oh yeah, we have a national company and it's losing the position on the market. This is a bad thing because we want our company to be the strongest one on our market. Of course we do, right? Never did they mention that the company which overtook INA was actually a Russian company. Just never. It took me out. So I'm planning to add Croatian-Russian summits to the list today. This being one of them, where a bunch of our footballers took a picture with Putin. I had no idea about this. This was 2018. This is Kolinda. Kolinda, by the way, Kolinda comes from HDZ. HDZ is the party which is currently ruling Croatia because HDZ is who our prime minister is. Our prime minister is pro-Ukraine. I'm not sure what happened there. I was going through the Wikipedia yesterday and I'm still not sure what happened there. Because so far, what I understand, HDZ was under direct control of Russia. HDZ was very, very close to Russia, but something happened and they just shifted away, and now Plenković, who is the HDZ person, Plenković is against Russia and pro-Ukraine, but Milanović is pro-Russia. But he is from SDP, which is like the enemy party to HDZ. It's a weird little thing. I don't know how it reached this situation, but it's really, really interesting to know. And also another thing that I had no idea about, because I feel like we ignored the danger of Russia until very recently for far too long. So it's very, very fucking weird now that, like, I'm looking at all of this and I'm seeing evidence of Russian interference in our democracy, and we just never talked about it. But if you remember when we had a conversation about who our president right now is, and it's Milanovic. So it's this one. The pro-Russian one. He's kind of stupid. He's basically the pro-peace. Think of the pro-peace idiots. He's that. This is him. So Milanovic is our current president, and I remember we talked about how we picked our president, and that the competition was him. It was the former president of Croatia who didn't feel like being a president, and then the third choice was Miroslav Škoro, who has Nazi particles and is a singer. The mentioned Miroslav Škoro with Nazi particles, who is a singer, he had a homeland movement, which was strongly connected to Prvoplinarsko društvo, which is the Gazprom firm in Croatia. They were like directly connected to Russians. And I had no idea about that either. So yeah, GG about that. I'm definitely going to read more about this today, but this is very, very fresh to me. We never pointed this out. It is wild to me that, like, we never talked about this, and the evidence of them being close to Russia is just here. It's just there in the fucking open. Like, you can very easily follow this. I did some I was on like 4 pills yesterday. So I did some Googling in my awake times, and it's very easy to find independent Croatian journalists talking about this. It never got coverage on bigger media though. Like, no one cared about the topic. And I guess now, I don't know if too much time has passed, so no one cares because of that. It's just, it's fucking weird. I don't know, it's weird to watch. Wikipedia page about prominent Ruskies who keep falling out of windows. There's a Wikipedia on this? Do you have a link? Do you have a link to that? Gold Medal World Beer Award. Holy shit. 3-grain beer brewed with Steiermark hops. Has good herbal flavors. Banana and vanilla? That sounds like a dream. That sounds like a dream. Suspicious death of Russian business people? Oh, 2022, 2023. How many of them? Oh, that is far more than I thought it would be. That is far more than I thought it would be. Let me see. Okay, they have place. Count of deaths? What is count of deaths? Who has the most? 4? Oh, it's the dude who was killed with his family. Oh, okay. Hey, yeah, GDX, how's life? Date of that position, age at death. Place body was discovered, circumstances. Oh. Oh. Oh shit, I remember this one. Died from a drug-induced heart attack during a shamanic ritual. Cancer, died the next day whole. Wait, which one was it? Oh, this one. I remember reading about this one. This is the funniest one. This is the funniest one because the dude was actually in the hospital for heart problems, and they chunked him out of the window. He was fucking in the hospital for heart issues. They could have poisoned the dude and everyone would have been like, yeah, he had heart issues. He just fucking died. No, they chunked him out of the window. There's so many ways to hide this death more efficiently. Because, like, he was already in the fucking hospital for fucking heart issues. And you chunk him out of the window anyways. Man. Shortly after Russia invaded Ukraine, Lukoil boat called for the conflict to end as soon as possible, expressing sympathy to victims of this tragedy. Oy. I. Drowned hours after tweeting? Oi! Fair, silence me, you piece of shit. Censor me, I'm a Croatian, I don't need to know anything anyways. Little bitch boy. Show me this. Crypto bro. Oh. Okay, but there's nothing suspicious about it, right? Oh, he was hinting at a potential suicide by CIA as one of his possible futures. Oh. Ooh. You know that meme of Budanov wearing a shark suit? That's what happened. Who was the last one? Who was the last one? Which one is the freshest? Nikolaev? Beaten up near his... Oh, I saw this on Twitter. Oh, yeah. Died 3 weeks after falling victim to a mysterious attack near his country house in Tver region. Oh, he had previously served as the senior Russian diplomat in Crimea before the region's annexation by Vladimir Putin. Man. Oh, family of Nikolaev sought the assistance of renowned Russian human rights expert and journalist Eva Merkacheva to investigate his death. Oh. Oh. Some of just stupid drunk Russians died as natural cause. Yeah, that too. But burned alive after falling asleep with a lit cigarette? State-run TASS news agency reported him found dead in an apparent suicide following his dismissal by President Vladimir Putin. Bro. Died suddenly, it just says. Found dead in apartment, found dead in office. Died of leukemia 2 days after diagnosis. What? He was diagnosed with leukemia on August 14th and died 2 days later. News agencies reported that he hadn't previously complained of feeling ill, but a Russian prison's watchdog official insisted that Lopirev had died of natural causes. Well, if a Russian prison's watchdog official says it, I'm sure they're correct. Man. Man, what the fuck? Yeah, it's like 12th, it's 16th. There doesn't seem to be a pattern. I wish there was a pattern. Prigozhin and Nutkin Lama. Prigozhin was 62? Prigozhin was 62? Bro. Why did I always think he was like in his 50s? I always thought he was like late 40s, early 50s. I don't know why. This one says nothing. Mysterious to this fella, so he fell to his death, huh? Classic. You thought he was in his 70s? I thought he was late 40s. I don't know why. I think I know why, but it's a stupid reason. But you know what it is? It's his stupid ass wigs. I've never thought too much about his age before. I was always like, I guess 50s, I don't know. But then he had those like memes with wigs and everything, and I remember Grisha talked about him, and then that image was shown of him like reading manga and everything. And I think I just like in my head I made him younger because I was like, oh yeah, dude likes joking around, which is something I would expect from a younger person and not someone old and rotten and ready to die. And then it turns out he was old and rotten and ready to die. What is this? We have to be relying on watching Dylan on YouTube because his streams are impossible to catch. Hi Yomisa, how are you doing? Also, hey,
I managed to get out, and the next thing I was aware of was a burning pain in my side. I looked down and I saw fresh tissue from an obvious wound.
He was bleeding pretty badly.
Oh no, I remember this.
Oh shit. Please, please, please. Survive. John, please.
We need to go inside. It's locked. Motherfuckers.
They tell me there's one bunker, and then if shelling starts, to go over to that bunker door, and then I go over to the door and it's locked. The one instruction I was given, and it didn't protect me.
Hey, by the way, what is it with like bunkers being locked? Is that still a problem? Because there was a situation, you remember when it was, I think, a woman and her daughter dying because they tried to get to the shelter and they couldn't get in because it was locked. And I remember at the time there were lots of conversations about how to fix this, and then a few days later Dylan posted this and people were like, oh yeah, they're trying to figure out like what to do because of the death that happened recently. It happens for them to be locked. Why? Is there why? Is there like a reason that is understandable as to why they would be locked? It seems like, I don't know. Why? I can't figure out a way to explain that in the current situation, you know? Oh yeah, Ben Wallace, I saw him post on Twitter. He made an amazing post, and he was actually getting quite a lot of very positive comments around. So that made me feel really good about him. Also, it seems that he is going to continue working in related fields. But they were explaining something about UK politics, and I don't. Man, UK is not in European Union. Okay, I don't have to care about them. But there was something about the fact that he has held his position for quite a long time. So now this is like, it was an okay choice apparently for him to leave the post, and he can just move on to something else. I do think he was a great influence though. I think he was a great influence. I think he was a great help. Without him, we surely wouldn't be getting as much help for Ukraine as we did get. Or hobos who decide it's a free estate and there's shit and empty bottles all over shelters. Wait, most of you don't go to shelters? What do you do? I'm thinking about like, I follow a few people, and I know they post about going to, is the subway a word for that? I think, yeah. Does it not count as a shelter? I guess no, shelter's a separate thing, right? So maybe that. So I guess it's mostly like people who live in shabby little houses who would be going to shelters. And I'm reminded of that case recently where that little house was hit. Do you remember that? That little boy was killed. A little house was hit, just destroyed by a fucking missile, and a boy was hit. So I would understand if you're like in a building, and I know there were advices posted online about like how many walls should be between you and the like outside wall of the building. So even if the missile hits, you will be at least somewhat safe. So I guess if you're in a situation where you can be somewhat safe while you're sleeping, I guess it would be okay to stay. But like, I don't know, man, that just sounds horrifying. My friend has to leave her dorm at 3 a.m. and go to the shelter in every case of air alert. Oh! Why do you not employ... Is there a reason? Did you try it already? I'm like genuinely interested in this. Why are there not people employed who are like, I don't know if security guards is a word to say, but for the shelters? You know what I mean? Like, if the biggest problem is that like hobos go there and they drink and shit around, right? Why not have someone who's just going to be there making sure it's safe? Would it be hard to get enough people? How many shelters do you even have around? Would it be hard to get like, I don't know, the police to do patrols every once in a while to check it out? Or like, I don't know, like local local organizations? I'm trying to like figure out what we would do. But we have like local groups which like right now, for example, we have community rooms. There's a house which is like a community house in the village, right? So like young people, for example, have a room for themselves, and then if you're part of the women's group or a woman, you have a room for yourselves. There's a gym inside, there's a fridge with drinks and everything, you know, and there's like an organization which goes and they just go and check out these rooms every once in a while to make sure that they are properly kept and that no one's, you know, like going there to eat and shit and everything. Would it be possible to do that? If we go to the shelters every time Russia attacks, our economy will get fucked. Oh shit, yeah, that too. That too, that's a fair fucking point. Man, fuck him. You're horny for NATO? Same. same.
Я сижу и понимаю, что сидеть толку нет, потому что прилетит, если в эту штуку, где мы прятались, может попасть и в окно, не дай бог, или там возле двери попадет, что осколками всех зацепит.
Understandable, to be honest. Understandable. Wait, but like, do you feel safe enough as a regular person in Kiev to stay asleep? I guess you do, right? Because the air defense is supposed to be rather good. Even though there's still, of course, always like danger of the wreckage falling around or whatever. But still, the air defense is rather good around Kiev. So I would guess it makes sense. I would guess it makes sense in the situation. Like if you're waging, you're trying to figure out what the possible risk is, if the risk is low enough. Oh, I saw Sarah posting a lot about Bakhmut recently. One of the shot down rockets landed in 144 meters from her house. Shit. Oh, that's close.
On June 6, 2023, the Novokakoko Dam in Ukraine's Kherson region was destroyed, causing massive flooding to the communities downstream. The deluge of water emptied out of the reservoir before submerging villages close to the Dnipro River.
This doesn't sound like
put an estimated 42,000 people at risk, while trapping and killing those caught in the floodwaters who couldn't get out of the way in time.
Man.
This necessitated a rescue operation, many of which were hastily organized, with volunteers coming from across Ukraine to assist. Offbeat research correspondent Dylan Burns was on the scene to document rescue efforts.
It was pretty bad in Kherson due to the flooding, and so me and Alex Bardaway from New Voice of Ukraine wanted to head down there so we could film the rescue operations. We didn't really prepare any big plans. We didn't have a lot of embeds. We just wanted to head down there and film whatever we could. We almost didn't get into the city. They were very aggressive about safety going in. It was the first time I'd ever interacted with a checkpoint guard, and they
Where's Surovikin, by the way?
My body armor and helmet before entering the city. It was the first time, and I had gone to forward operating positions with the army, so I knew it was going to be pretty serious.
Bro.
While in Kherson, Dylan Burns embedded with a German rescue team.
Huge balls on that man.
Rescue. It was made up of Robin Heller, Johannes Hinterseer, and Timo Ballmeister. Their purpose for being in Kherson was to help rescue animals that could have been trapped by the flooding, with the Ukrainian environmental minister, Ruslan Strilets, saying that as many as 20,000 animals might have died from the flooding.
They were just like near a hostel we were staying at, and we saw them with the rescue gear and, you know, all with the vans with the logos on it. So we walked up and started talking to them. They knew English, and from there we grew it into an embed. We got very lucky that they would, you know, allow us to film with them, and they were very interested in making sure that everything's documented. Which, in this instance,
I hope Surovikin is crying.
Cameras rolling.
Dylan Burns and the Four Paws crew were also joined by British expat volunteer John Jones, who had come to Kherson on his own initiative in order to help out wherever he could, like assisting Ukrainian animal welfare NGO, UA Animals, in establishing a pop-up animal shelter in an abandoned building in the city. On June 14th, the Four Paws rescue team, along with John Jones, Alex Bartaway, and Dylan Burns, headed towards a rendezvous point where they planned to meet other aid workers, including Mija Harfuch and her colleagues at Christian aid charity House of Hope, before heading out on the Dnipro River to perform rescue operations. At this point, though, they were already off to a rough start. The combination of chaotic coordination and new safety requirements for boats that required the Germans to get a boat from a local coordinator meant they were only ready to get out on the water past 6 p.m, much later than they preferred.
It wasn't very centralized, and it led to a lot of the response being very chaotic. And I think this was most clearly shown by the fact that the Germans, who got a red rescue boat from a local coordinator because the requirements for what boats you could take out the water had changed and they had to get a metal, stronger boat than the one they had on hand, they took it out to water and it didn't work. And after a conversation with somebody else, they led me to believe that they had also interacted with that boat and they had reported to somebody that it wasn't working. And so just that miscommunication could have possibly contributed to this tragedy. So this type of chaotic response was not the best environment. People did what they could on such short notice.
They were also informed that the Russians had been shelling in the area the day before, but after other aid workers came back from the river and said it was relatively quiet on the water, they felt encouraged.
The team was somewhat divided on whether they were going to go out into the water or not. It was already getting pretty late, and you know, there was already so many delays and people were kind of frustrated. Not to mention there were reports of shelling in the area the day before, so some people, you know, felt an obvious safety concern being so close to the Russians. But then a rescue team came back from the shoreline and they gave a story of, oh, you know, it's quite peaceful in the water today. You know, it's very nice, it's very tranquil, it's relatively safe. And I mean, that might have been true for them, but obviously that was not true for us. But that was enough to convince them to keep going ahead.
The team went down from the rendezvous point to the shoreline and launched the boat into the water with Robin, Johannes, and John inside. John was helping drive the boat due to his previous experience, but as they began to run into engine troubles soon after it in the water, the team quickly had to...
By the way, here's your link, go fucking suck to Dylan.
Run into engine issues, Dylan, Alex, and Timo went back to the rendezvous point, not wanting to crowd the muddy shoreline with Russian positions only a few kilometers away.
I knew something was wrong when they took out a paddle for the speedboat, because that's not how speedboats are supposed to work. But at that point, they were getting help from another person out, another boat that was out on the water, a white boat full of locals. And I was called back to the Jeep because they didn't want people to gather on the shoreline due to Risk of shelling, wouldn't you know it?
Even after those three left, the boat crew still couldn't get the boat running, even with the assistance of other volunteer crew. After multiple more failed attempts to get the engine started, the decision was made to head back to the shoreline, since they were unable to complete the rescue work safely without a functioning engine. Once back on the shore, a call was made for Timo, Alex and Dylan to come pick them up and help them bring the boat back. It was after the call wrapped up when the crew started to drag the boat onto the shore at exactly 6:49 PM local time that the barrage began.
So then they call him on the walkie-talkie that there's a problem with the boat and he's gonna drive down with the car, and on the way the mortar attack came in.
Suddenly, for a brief moment, a distant boom could be heard, immediately followed by the unmistakable whistle of an incoming shell. Thinking fast, Johannes immediately threw himself to the ground to take cover upon hearing the screech of the shell, just in time for it to make impact near the coast. Robin and Johannes then ran to a bunker near the shore, along with other aid and rescue workers, with the mud swallowing their legs as they tried to traverse the shoreline, working against them and slowing their escape as the shelling continued.
When we started running, I think I slipped and fell on the ground. I'm not sure if I think it must have been after the first hit. And this was the first time Johannes turned around and took like 2, 3 or 4 steps maybe back to my position, helped me up, and then we ran together, basically holding hands that nobody slipped again.
Nearly a dozen aid workers had attempted to take shelter in the bunker, more than it was built to hold, with some people trying their best to squeeze into the tight space as the rescue operation was continuously targeted by artillery. During this chaos, John Jones had been hit by shrapnel from a Russian shell while standing next to the rescue boat. This caused shrapnel to penetrate both his upper thigh and lower abdomen, injuring and immobilizing him on the shore.
Shit.
I heard the first shell explode. It seemed to me to be somewhere behind me. And people, of course, went looking for cover, but I was stuck in the mud on the Dnipro. I was wearing hiking boots, which were full of mud, and I couldn't really move very fast. So I managed to get out, and the next thing I was aware of was another shell explosion and a burning pain in my side. I looked down and I saw fresh tissue from an obvious wound, and moments after that I collapsed on the floor.
While the shoreline was being bombed, those at the rendezvous point were scrambling for cover. When Dylan Burns heard the familiar whistle of an incoming shell, he also threw himself to the ground and headed to the door of a bunker that local police told him to use if they came under fire. But it didn't go as planned.
Oh,
we need to go inside. We need to go inside.
Oh, that was the one.
Motherfucker. Why would they lock the door?
No, but like, especially in that situation. Like, you know, there's daily shelling and you lock it.
Eventually, after the majority of shelling had already concluded, someone inside opened the rear entrance to let the three in.
Nice.
Back at the shoreline, volunteers taking cover in the bunker, like Dmitry and Nazarchik, were attempting to get to John, who was still injured and lying in the mud on the shore.
И потом, обстрел, там, они потихонечку кидают, и, я сижу и понимаю, что, сидеть толку нет, потому что прилетит, если в эту штуку,
yeah, this was around the same time when Imad and the daughter were killed.
Постоянно выход, выход.
Because I remember this was, when Dylan posted this, it was a few days later. And people were commenting that like there's conversations about how to change this, how to change the system,
came in a large number. I forget
but
how
apparently
many,
nothing has really been done about this.
And picked me up and carried me to a nearby cylindrical bunker that couldn't fit us all. They shoved me in, and everybody else tried to pile in.
I saw in his face that it's really critical because he get like a little bit slippery and his circulation was not the best, and I thought, oh shit, please survive, John, please.
The volunteer who had been hit, he was hit in his stomach and in his leg, and he was bleeding pretty badly. And they continued to shell us, I think, maybe 5 or 6 more times. And as the other guys were taking the one who had been hit, were carrying him to the shelter, they continued to fire at them.
Eventually, though, Under fire, local volunteers were able to make their way to John and carry him back to the bunker on the shore. While John now had cover, his wounds were clearly serious, especially the shrapnel wound in his lower stomach. As the shelling continued, a discussion ensued as to whether they should remain in the bunker or run to a nearby van and flee the area. But the volunteers wanted to get John to a hospital as quickly as possible and ultimately made the decision to get out of there.
И потом его уже в легковую мы закинули, слава богу, там с Херсона волонтеры тоже такие живчики, ну, которые не, ну, шевелятся. И мы закинули раненого в легковую машину и отправили его в госпиталь. И потом сидим дальше в этом же укрытии, ну, и надо действовать. Я говорю, я так, ну, всех проверил, чтобы не было ни у кого шока, ну, чтобы не было остепенения. Посмотрел, ни у кого шока нету, говорю, все, я за броневиком. Выбегаю под обстрелами за броневиком, запрыгиваю в броневик, разворачиваюсь, ну там с проблемами, там поломал двигатель свой, ну переехал моторный. Представьте, обстрел идет уже, там ни о чем не думаешь. И подгоняю броневик и зову всех ребят, всех, кто там был, и мы начинаем выезжать. Ну и когда едешь в броневике, там не слышишь особо выстрелов, но ехали быстро.
As John was driven to the hospital, the German aid workers were driven back to the rendezvous point, where they were able to reunite with Dylan, Timo and Alex, before finally driving back to safety after a lull in the shelling.
After the shelling, we basically decided to get out of the city as fast as possible, mostly because of mental reasons, I guess.
Man.
John would be treated that night at a local Kherson hospital, where doctors discovered that his pelvis stopped the shrapnel in his lower abdomen, which likely saved him.
I was lucky in many ways. The shell fragment, the shrapnel, entered cleanly through my belly, around the area of my navel at an oblique angle, and passed under the layer of muscle and tissue, then struck the edge of my pelvis and was deflected out of my body again, a clean entry and exit wound.
The next day, while everyone was still rattled by the previous day's events, Dylan and Alex were visiting John in the hospital when Dylan was texted a video.
Me and Alex, by the way, went to the hospital to visit John. He was pretty messed up, but he was in safe condition. And when we were talking to him and about to head out from the hospital, I get a text message from my buddy, from my good friend in Kiev. And it's a video that was very obviously the boat that we were using the day before, the red boat. And
yeah, I remember this with the music over it.
It was us, that was us, the aid workers on the shoreline, and it was from the perspective of a Russian drone with a rune often used by the Nazis in the top left-hand corner, and they were playing rock music as they shelled us on video.
This.
And then they posted this online with a message about us being special forces trying to build a bridgehead on the other side of the river. It was absolutely ridiculous. It was surreal. It was kind of hard to process. It was probably the most shocking part of the entire trip.
The video in question was posted on the Disgusting 8 Telegram channel, the social media channel for drone and artillery support elements attached to the Levadia Battalion, a private military company owned by Sergei Aksionov. Aksionov is the head of the Crimean Occupation Authority and was installed in 2014 after Russian forces invaded and occupied the Crimean Regional Parliament building. Aksionov's Levadia Battalion are officially designated as reservists and formalized as the 30th Combat Army Reserve. The group also cooperates with the Russian Army's 150th Motorized Rifle Division and 205th Separate Motor Rifle Brigade. Members of the Levadia Battalion are made to sign a contract with the Russian Ministry of Defense under the Combat Army Reserve Program, and with PMC Convoy, a company consisting of reconnaissance and assault units led by Wagnerite Konstantin Piccolo. This isn't the first time Russia has shelled civilians and aid workers in Kherson during rescue operations. Less than 48 hours after the dam was destroyed, the Russians began to shell the city of Kherson as rescue operations were still intermittently underway, posing a danger to local aid workers. In one incident, Moshe Ruven-Azman, the chief rabbi of Ukraine, and his team was shelled during an aid work operation in the city. Additional reports from the Ukrainian government of the direct targeting of rescue workers, similar to what we have documented, has resulted in the deaths of both local civilians and foreign aid workers. To get a better understanding of war crimes like the targeting of civilians and rescue workers in the city, we talked to an international human rights lawyer and specialist in international humanitarian law.
So my name is Sarah Kay. I'm an international human rights lawyer. I specialize in national security and specifically hybrid warfare. And as the bodies of law emerged in the aftermath of the Second World War, we saw protection of civilians extend to specifically protected professions. And this protected profession is usually human rights defenders, journalists, such as yourselves, and anyone that works in a humanitarian capacity. So it's a violation of the laws of war, specifically through the principle of neutrality that is applying to international humanitarian law. That is the ideal that we have drafted at that time, is that if you are visibly a humanitarian worker or providing humanitarian assistance, you cannot be targeted.
Man. Yeah, I can imagine. They're not too... They're probably not too interested in the whole thing. Just holy shit. Man, I remember that video. That was maddening. Holy shit, with the stupid ass rock music. that was fucking ridiculous. Hey, talking about the shelters though, I looked at the posts from the time. I have found this saying that Klitschko ordered for the shelters in Kiev to be inspected at the time. Klitschko ordered checks on all Kiev shelter locations, and then I found this. I don't know how any of these are reliable, my man. But it says National Inspection of Bomb Shelters has found 252 were closed and almost 900 were unfit to use. This means almost 1 in 4 is useless. And this was just after the people have died outside a locked shelter in Kiev. Now, it did say criminal prosecutions are likely to follow. I don't know how. I don't know if anything happened about that. I don't know if anything followed this. Yeah, I'm seeing nothing else really. I'm seeing nothing else on it. Zelensky apparently made a comment. Or Zelensky made a comment that like it's not enough that we have Russia. Turns out we also have internal enemies. And Klitschko has said that a lot of money has been given to district authorities to shelters, but the money has not been used properly. So, yeah. Press just seems like a big target for the Sox. Yeah, it's as if they're doing this thinking they will never get to court in the future. You know what I mean? Like, oh, yeah, we are doing war crimes, but like, who the fuck cares? Because no one's going to put us to Hague. I still don't think they understand how serious this is and how likely they are to just rot for the rest of their lives there. I don't think they see it. Did I click it? Did I click it? I did. Okay, fair. Only one, sir. Oi! I don't know the writing. Listen, new animation has dropped. I don't know the writing rules. Someone updated me. His nose kind of looks like a dick, but I guess that was intended, wasn't it? See. Oh, Sisa. Yeah, here too. Here too, here too, here too.
Ваня, Ваня, вставай!
We just kind of do
Ваня, вставай, НАТО
федерация more.
Ну тут, вероломно, со спины, и вот-вот будет здесь.
Не attack by Ruska Federacja.
И защитить свою родину, сынок.
And you know how funny I found it the first time? And I saw a Serb post it. I saw a Serb post it the first time I saw it. I thought it was the funniest thing ever. For like 2 days when I was thinking about Russia, I would be like, bro, a Serb just called them Ruska Federacja. It's a nice word in Russian. In Russian it means a country I
Логично.
belong
Ты ведь
to.
хочешь защитить свою семью и чтобы твой ребенок спал спокойно? Папа. Пиздуй в окоп, хочу выспаться. Иди, сынок, и без победы не возвращайся. Папа? Ну просил же.
That's fine. No, I didn't want to click on this. Holy shit, I don't want to be watching these. Listen, I have Arthur saved. I have a bunch of things saved, okay? But also... Ro-so-si-ya. What does that mean? Update me. I understand Sisa, because we say Sisa. Okay, you say Sisya. Is that ya? Sisa. Sisa, my dude. But what is that one? Oh! Oh, we don't have that word. We don't have a derivative of that word to use in that context. We need to get your words. We need to share more words so we can mock Russia together. we need to figure out a way to combo that shit, okay? Saved Arthur, saved 2:14:20. Saved this for some reason. I already have. Yeah, who the fuck cares? What is this? TVP? Nah, we already listened to TVP. Southern Rhodesia. Ooh. Saucy. Saucy. Jebany. Блядь. Saucy. Rososia. 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 Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. I need to remember. Listen, the only thing I remember Thompson screaming is Яйца. Every time he screams and he mentions Яйца, I'm like, Яйца! And then he pronounces it as Яйка. And it's not K, it's C. Okay, we say it as C. And I'm not even sure if like Яйца means what I think Яйца means, but I love it when he says it. He doesn't say sranje. Surprisingly, disappointingly even, he doesn't really say sranje. He should say sranje more. He should use that word more. Someone teach Thompson how to pronounce sranje. Maybe he doesn't know. Яйца means exactly what you think it does. Hey, nice. That makes me happy. It's like, it's a one word that I get out of his speeches almost every single time he uses it. It makes me feel like I'm part of the conversation, you know? Because otherwise it's him insulting idiots in chat, and there's me being like, why am I being ignored? When am I supposed to blossom? How do I put it? Up, but like not too up. But if I put him here, then he goes under. Hickey and Yaika, not Yaitza. Then it's like a childish way to say it. Yaika, Yaitza, Yaika. Yaika is like the child way. Yaika, Yaika, Yaika. Ah, Yaika, Yaika. Bro, okay, fair. Confuse balls with eggs. Yeah, we say it the same way. It's like, but we say yaya. We mostly say yaya. For like balls, but yaya is also used for actual eggs. Yaitsa is the one that's like a joke one, but you only use it for balls. You don't really use that one for eggs. Unless you want to make a dirty joke. I work retail. I work retail, okay, and one of the things that we sell at the store are eggs. The amount of jokes I hear about that daily. Just dudes coming in like, can I buy some yaitsa here? Oh, I already have some on me. May I play with your yaikas? Is what you can say to your boyfriend. Ah, okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Cock and yaika torture. We pretty much have the same slurs and insults. We have nothing. We have nothing here. I usually understand just the yaitsa. I understand the yaitsa. Sometimes he says jebanie in some form, and I catch that one, but like that's it. I don't really I don't catch too many other words. Maybe if he spoke slower or less angry. I get really fucking intimidated every time he gets really, really angry. They smell. It's yaitsas, never yaikas. Why? But why? Why? So how would you, let's say hypothetically, hypothetically you want to ask your boyfriend if you may play around with his yaikas, but they smell. Would you just change the word you're using? What if you wanna be nice and don't want to let him know? Why would you have a distinction between smelly balls and not smelly balls? Have perfect language. They can describe everything. That's fair. That's fair, that's fair. So when Thompson mentions it, basically, when Thompson mentions it, he is talking about smelly balls. Is that what I'm supposed to learn from this conversation? When I hear Thompson scream at people, and he mentions yaitsa as part of his screams, a part of the imagery that you get is that these balls are really smelly. Because it wasn't something that I thought of, but now that you said it, makes sense. Hey, we gotta watch this dude. And also I have to show you, look what I have to show you. I have to show you some loser ass fucking videos. I did the meme course online because I was really bored, okay, and really depressed. Leave me alone. And they give you these videos at the end. There's like few of them, but I thought these were the weirdest ones. These videos are basically people looking into memes and analyzing them. And it's a weird fucking thing, okay? It's like bro, the stuff that they do with this, holy shit. It's Twitter. I was pissed off watching this. It's such a Twitter little thing. Listen to this.
And sort of coming at them from the approach of...
like this is, where's the meme? Where did they show you the meme? The meme is basically this one. This is the meme that they're analyzing, right? It's like capitalism, the youth, socialism. You see this meme online and you're like, ah, okay, dumbass meme. And you scroll around, right? I assume most of you do that. Not them, because they fucking psychoanalyze every single part of this meme like some goddamn idiots. There's something ironic about the fact that people supposed to be teaching a course on memes are people fundamentally misunderstanding memes. Like,
so
it's
sort of
weird.
The angle that we took looking, or at least that I took looking at this one, was sort of like, oh, haha, like funny. But then you sort of are like, okay, wait, this is really problematic. You see this boy, and he's objectifying these women.
See, Twitter.
And then the other layer to it that you sort of see throughout all of these distracted boyfriend memes. Oh, here's these political systems, but let's just put them over a distracted boy, and it's funny and it makes sense.
Yeah, and another thing that comes up about this is that this is probably one of the most popular of the stock image series memes. And something that really stands out to me is that when it says the youth, we see that the youth figure is just this distracted, silly white boy. And it's so funny because this is exactly how we narrate history. This is exactly how we narrate interest and popularity in socialism among the youth. We talk about these Bernie bro images, and this is exactly what comes to mind for a lot of people.
I have discussed a little bit, and I sort of am fascinated as well about the context behind the stock image in the first place, because it is by nature a problematic image regardless of the text that's put on top of it.
It's like NATO memes.
Right.
Most NATO memes look like babushka memes.
Most funny about this memes for me, and maybe also
so many of them are so cringe. I love them to death.
That's being depicted as the youth is literally the textbook definition of a brocialist. So really, the whole image that we're fed about Bernie bros and socialist groups within the United States is just white boys messing around because they think it's fun, it's hot and flashy, it's the next thing that came up.
Right. And regardless of the text that's put on top of this image in general, you sort of have this idea of this white man just being able to pick and choose between whatever he wants because it's sort of built for him, and he can, here's this one.
I actually liked the Bernie bro analysis. I don't like the following ones. I don't like specifically the blurry. I don't know which one of them is like, the woman walking towards you is blurry. Is it this one? I don't know which one of them. I thought this one was actually relatively based in her analysis. I thought most of the other ones were fucking unbased. This is ridiculous. The idea is that it's problematic because it's sexist. Because women are portrayed as objects, plus the woman that you see, I think this one explains it, I'm not sure who, but like the woman walking towards you, you don't actually get to see her face because she's blurry, so she's a representation of another woman to be objectifying, but she's not actually formed as another woman, she's just a blurry figure of a woman. Who is that, right? Which like, I want to know. This one was weird. The first meme that I actually looked at was rather cool. This one just made me fucking weirded out, and then I was like, I need to save this for the stream. Because the first one they looked into was the one with like 3 hands. It was 3 hands overlapping. And it says, I think in the middle, it says like, just trying to get this bread. And then it's like people who are hard workers, bakery thieves, and ducks. And then the skin colors go from white to darker to like darkest. So it's like white people are portrayed as hard workers, and then you have a bit darker skin color which is portrayed as bakery thieves, and you have the darker skin color and then it says ducks. Which it was actually okay analysis of that one. But in that one also they went into the whole peace symbol thematic, which is not what you get from the meme itself. It feels like one of those situations where you get Twitter bros to look at a piece of art and then they dissect it so weirdly and into so much detail that they lose the point of the entire thing.
And here's another one, or here's capitalism, but let me dabble in socialism because I can, and the system allows me to move with this fluidity.
Our next example is the distracted boyfriend meme. This is a long-running popular meme that typically has a kind of social meaning, a light-hearted social meaning, but here in this example is turned political. The purpose of this meme is to illustrate youth's disenchantment with capitalism and its move toward increasing sympathies with socialism. So the meme here, which formerly just had to do with romantic relationships and the typical permutations of them, is here given political significance. But at the same time, what it does is it kind of suggests that the young people today, their political commitments aren't very serious. They're more of an erotic attraction than any kind of serious political commitment. The young male figure at the center of this meme is just kind of mildly distracted by the attractiveness of socialism and not deeply committed to it. There's also a suggestion in this meme that you simply want what you don't have, right? That because we don't have socialism, we want it instead of capitalism. But if you look closely at the meme, you'll realize there's really no difference, or very little difference, between the two female figures that are labeled socialism and capitalism. They look about the same. So the choice isn't rendered very distinct either. The stock image chosen in this meme reinforces the heteronormative white paradigms you have representing youth today, white male figure at the center, he is the figure of youth, and two white girls that he is seemingly attracted to. So he's a heterosexual white male as the figure of youth today. What this meme then shows is the way in which white heteronormative paradigms can be easily extended and absorbed into political and economic systems. So the youth represented by the straight white male figure has as his options two equally attractive women. What I think makes this image, which at first seems to represent some kind of progressive political movement, actually more regressive, is the kind of stock nature of the image. It almost seems unintentional. The person just selected this because it was a stock, easily accessible image. And yet, it's precisely that thoughtfulness that allows the white heteronormative paradigm to become the norm, the unspoken, invisible norm by which we imagine what youth is in America. And it's, of course, not at all representative. So in this way, this meme, like our first example, which at first might seem to be making fun of or pointing to progressive kinds of political messages, actually is reinforcing very regressive reactionary cultural stereotypes.
Basically, overall, kind of interesting course to take. Just very fucking anal about analysis. Weirding me the hell out. Just very, very, very detailed looking into these stock images. Found this one that I thought was actually kind of cuter though. This is the one that they give you on this meme. And this one is actually like funny, but also they look into I think one of them actually comments like how interesting it is that it uses the usual archetype of like you have one woman who is light and she is supposed to be like innocence and everything in the photo, right? And then you have the other one which is darker and she's supposed to be like exotic. And how interesting it is that in the meme they switched out their roles. They switched out, so like the text bubbles are completely different because like this one is actually innocent and this one isn't. And I thought stuff like that was relatively interesting, but like everything else, very, very fucking weird. Very, very fucking weird. Interesting course though. They give you a list of tools at the end. Did I save it somewhere? Fuck, I think I didn't. There's a list of tools. You can search by whichever phone you have. And then you have a list of apps you can download to make memes. And they're sorted from like the least complicated to use to the most complicated. So you just like get the apps and you test them out. Very interesting thing. Very, very interesting thing. I thought it was The Onion. No. No, it is not The Onion. It isn't. It's genuine. They have jobs in this. This is a job. This is what they do for a living. They analyze memes. Part of it is genuinely interesting, but a part of it, I think when they go into like memes, which are just popular shit, I think they do get a bit too much into just weirdly overanalyzing everything. Screenshot, how is life going? How is everything there? How is existence? We have to watch Arthur, and I still haven't shown you Arthur.
Not much. Nothing's happening really. The front
Wait.
line. What's up today? What's up today? Not much. Nothing's happening.
That was the start.
The line is stable, except for Ukraine broke through the Surovikin line. Yeah, you heard correctly. The Surovikin line, the first Russian defensive line, where in the last video I reported they have reached it. Well, today, one day later, I am reporting that they have broken through, and oh boy, I'm excited about it. I've done 2 days of a very realistic analysis of the Southern Front, but I will allow myself 1 day of pure happiness about what I'm seeing here.
No,
you
just
see these black
fuck.
lines, the first ones, this is the second
Where
one.
is that?
The first one right in front
6
of
years
them,
ago video.
Ukraine today penetrated through it, and not on a very small
He
area,
betrayed
but
us.
actually an area
We'll
wide
have to
enough
watch
push
Vlad
through
Wexler.
wherever they want. This black line here
Maybe
has
there's
an
some chest area in his
anti-tank
videos.
Dragon's teeth and infantry fighting positions, anti-tank guided missile positions, heavy machine gun positions and trenches, and Ukraine has passed it. Let's look at the proof.
Who did I watch?
In this video, you can see the Ukrainian 82nd Air Assault Brigade.
I watched a male content creator recently, and there was chest hair.
The infantry is not
and I was like, oh, this is like Arthur a few years ago, and I can't remember who it was. Was it MEP yesterday? Because we rated MEP.
Look on this one, you can see it better. Of course, it doesn't show the break here, it's an old map. But this is where the 82nd penetrated first, and they have reached the very first houses of Verbove. And this is the geolocation photo proof. No pic, no proof, of course. And with this, it's of an utmost importance. This is the very same video you saw. This tree, and this tree have been, circled. This is a different satellite photo. And the photo is taken from this area about 300 meters from the first house of Verbove to the Ukrainian liberated side. This is where the 82nd were seen today morning. By now, they might be fighting in Verbove in an urbanized area on the edge of the settlement. Great news for me, honestly. Now, I am happy, I'm joyful as you can see, and I'm loaded, but I gotta bring some realism into it. Let's look at Verbove on a topographical map to see what is Ukraine facing against. See this road? Ukrainian 82nd has been following this road straight into the settlement. And as you can see, Verbove is in a valley. Yes, usually these settlements are in a valley, hiding ground. This topographical map, I mean, it's not huge mountains, but it's mountains enough. So if you put artillery positions facing into Verbove, it's quite hard to take the settlement. What Ukraine, I think, is going to do is push
thousands of Russian lives to take and our lives to give to get through. Absolutely.
And the Russians would have to pull back from the settlement itself also.
Have
there
you?
Would be no point in going into Verbove, doing this high casualty urbanized warfare.
I've saved something.
On both sides of the.
I've saved something. What did I say? What did I save? What did I save? I saw it yesterday when I woke up from my pills haze. There was something about Ukrainians sending a tiny group of soldiers and managing to liberate a huge area because the Russians were scared of them. That was basically it. They managed to not lose a single person, just one man who was harmed. Because he stepped on a mine, but like he was okay, he survived. And I remember seeing a post about it and just being like, holy crap, just wow, whoa. Imagine in a tiny little, they explain everything, how they were in a tiny little group and they had to sneak around through these minefields to manage to get to the positions, and just incredibly fucking brave. Your eyeliner makes you look Takumi Fujiwara's. Ah, nice, thank you. And look thin. I'm looking at, I'm trying. I'm not really dieting. I'm doing an experiment. Okay? I did an experiment previously, which was, I wanted to fatten up nicely to see if my tits would grow. And they did. And now I'm doing the follow-up to my experiment, which was like, if I lose extra weight, are they gonna go back to being small? Because then I'll be faced with a choice of like, do I want to have them small or do I want to have them big? So currently what I'm doing is I'm trying to eat healthier for like a few months to bring myself to what to the closer to the shape I used to be. Why do you want bigger tits? I don't know. It's like, it's one of those things, you know, when you have no tits, you always want bigger tits. And then when you have tits, you want them smaller. It's just the human state of not being happy with whatever you have. Right now, I'm currently happy with the way they are. I'm not currently happy with the way I'm relatively mushy. I'm relatively like, you know, like you poke me and it's like, I'm not too happy about that. I want to fix that, but I want to keep the boobs. So, and the boobs, the face, the shrink. I hope they're not. But probably, I would guess. I know it depends on the body build. It depends on the body build, and it depends on where your body stores fat naturally. So yeah, I don't really know what happens. I have no idea how that works, my dude. That's why I'm experimenting, you know? You just switch it around. It's kind of fun. Wouldn't want any more weight for my back to carry. The thing is that, like, when you're in a situation where you don't carry any weight, you're like, I can handle it. Also, it kind of depends on how big your titties are, you know? Depends on the size. Huge titties are very, very hard to carry, but I don't think I would be able to get huge titties in the first place. I'm able to get them to like normal size. They're like normal size right now. I can show them off, but like also it's not like they show up too much, which is good, but yeah, nothing too bad for my back. As a guy with tits, I hope this is true. It depends on your body build. It depends. It's like, next time you're out in public with lots of people around you, look at fat people. Okay, observe the fat people around you, because you're gonna notice there's a huge difference in how they are built, right? There are some fat people where the weight goes directly to boobs and to asses. I know a man, local man, he's not even that fat. He's like between chubby and fat. I don't know how to explain it. His ass fucking humongous, okay? If Twitter saw this man's ass, they would go fucking wild. He is built beautifully. I'm like jealous when I see him sometimes. All of his weight kind of goes into his ass, makes it like really, really round. Ridiculous how he's built. But like that's how he stores fat, right? And then you have other people where like most of the fat is stored, I don't know, in their stomach. So they're like fat, but their stomach is fat. And they have like stick tiny little leggies. Kind of depends on what you are. So that's why you gotta test it out. Try to lose a little bit, see where you feel less mushy. Okay, chest muscles. Hey, that was my plan if boobs don't grow if I get fatter. I wanted to train my chest muscles. Because I've heard that like if you train them enough, you can fake the illusion of having bigger boobs. Some people's bodies send weight first to thighs. Yeah, that's kind of what happens to me. There's a limit. It usually goes to thighs, but after some limit, it starts going everywhere else. But until a certain point, I was like very, very thin and just my thighs were getting bigger. That was it. You can shape man boobs by doing bench presses? Yeah, but then like the problem is you gotta exercise. Tummy fat? That is dangerous. That means you gotta have a healthier lifestyle, because fat around your stomach area means that you are more likely to get a heart attack. That is what I have learned. So, I mean, fat around any area creates problems. But stomach specifically, I think, is connected to cardiovascular diseases, right? Lean beef patty boxing. Just do a few push-ups. That's exercising though. That is exercising. I would rather eat a leaf of salad every day than exercise. Actually, I don't know. Now that I have to think about it, like if I had to choose, am I going to eat only like boring gym bro food but never exercise, just boring bland food so I don't eat any of it? Or am I going to eat everything tasty but exercise regularly? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's the better option. Oof. Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm trying to do something in the middle right now. Or maybe like maxing one would be the best, but I don't know what I could max. You have to eat right and exercise. Yeah, that's the worst thing. You have to do both. And I don't feel like doing both. I don't feel like doing either. God, I'm exercising. I mean, I work, I move around, I walk around a lot. That counts. That has to count. That's exercising. I walk. I do lots of steps. I think. I need to turn on the step calculator thingy to see if I make... What was it, like 10,000 in a day or something? I need to figure out if I do 10,000 a day. Tizo, yeah, Tizo. So if you eat tasty food, you gotta do more calories out, I think. Exercise doesn't burn too many calories by itself. Yeah, I remember that. I remember like reading how much you would need to exercise to burn off one cheeseburger, and it just made me never want to look up that bullshit again. Bro, it's fucking wild. To burn off one fucking donut, you need to like kill yourself from exercising. It's ridiculous how much you don't burn any calories. I remember doing this. There was a thing, an application you could get on your phone for a while, and they were offering a free trial for a week. So then I got it, and it was like, it gives you exercises to do daily, right? And I remember the first day I tried doing it, and I was exercising, and it's like, I don't know, I think half an hour or something? I don't know how long it goes, it just keeps on going, right? It's like one exercise and then a second one and then a different one, and then it just continues piling up. And then at the end, the amount of calories lost was so fucking low, I just never opened the app again. Like, what's the point? What's the point? Bro, you eat one lunch and then you gotta work your ass off for like 2 hours to do keto properly and to get rid of those calories. Ridiculous. But also there was something about how was it? If you exercise more, you build more muscle mass, and you're spending more calories in rest. I remember something about that because I spoke to a local. She was really into gym for a while. And she told me that while she was exercising in the gym, she had the plan of like, oh, I'm going to keep on exercising, but I'm going to eat the same amount of food as I do usually, right? Like, you don't really think you're going to start eating more at any point. She was like, oh no, I'm just going to be eating this normal amount, and then as I grow muscles, I'm going to be losing, weight naturally. But what happens actually is as you build more muscles, your body just demands more calories to keep it all going. And she says that at one point, like when she figured out what was happening, it was when for another day in the week, so like this was happening for the past like few days, she would go to the store after her job and she would buy a whole like bunch of bananas, and she would just be eating them on the way home. And then at home she was like, bro, what? Why? This is so many calories, why? And yeah, apparently you just start eating more to like keep it all in motion. The reason why I'm fat is because my family eats like they're gonna starve tomorrow. Holy shit. Oh, holy shit, I understand that. My man. Now running water, shit like that. State like they won't get food tomorrow. Yeah, and then you pick it up, right? Because like everyone else is, everyone around you is eating in that way, so then you also just learn how to do it, and then you can't get rid of it. And you're aware of the problem, you just can't do anything about that. Man, that fucking sucks. That shit fucking sucks. It reminds me, I've seen a post about something similar one day. I don't even know where it was posted, but the dude basically moved out of the family home and got thinner, like a lot thinner, because he changed his eating habits. He figured that his eating habits was the reason why he was so fat and not really genetics. And his family was always saying that it's genetics, right? So he lost a lot of weight because he changed his eating habits, and he lost a lot of weight as a result of it. And then he came back to to his home for a vacation, and they mocked him. They claim that like because genetically he is fat, he has to be starving himself in order to reach this weight. And he was like, no dude, I'm just like eating like a normal person. I'm not stuffing myself until I can't eat anymore. I'm just like normally eating. And they couldn't believe it because they were so used to just stuffing themselves for as long as they can. So I have no idea how you're keeping yourself at a proper weight, but like GG. I eat a single meal a day, but that single meal is still heavy. Oh shit. Do not use a lot of calories? I assume if you like study a lot and everything, right, you don't really move around. Have you ever thought... My mom has gotten really good at cooking. I said that too, bro. Like the combo of Indian food and then a really good cook. You're doomed to fail. You are doomed to fail any fucking dieting attempt. Just don't try. There's no point. 3k calories called genetics by some people. That too. I remember I watched one at one point that what was that TV show USA had? There was like, was it USA or was it Britain? Some English. There's like a skinny person and there's a fat person. And then they show you what each of them eats in a day, and then they switch their diets. And I remember the first time I saw a clip of it, there was a fat person, and she was like, oh, I don't eat that many calories in a day. So she counted what she eats for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it really wasn't that many calories, right? And then they placed a camera in her house, and it was like, she wakes up in the morning and she has a piece of chocolate or whatever, right? And she has some soda with it. And then she has the healthy, proper breakfast, right? But then she like walks to the shop or whatever and she gets another little snack. And the whole day of hers is filled with these little snacks. Like she has a yogurt, she has Starbucks, she has all of these little snacks on the side that she doesn't count in meals, because they're technically not meals, you know, like when someone asks you which meal you had today, you're not gonna count in that Starbucks you had on the way home, but it has a lot of fucking calories in. And I remember first time I saw it, I kind of tested it out on my aunt, because she also believes that she is fat because of genetics, because naturally people in my family are really, really big. Most members of the family are, right? So I remember being like, okay, like let's check out what you eat. And you know why she was? When she was getting most calories? It was because she was babysitting her grandkids. And whenever the grandkids, you know how kids are like stupid. So kids wanted chocolate, right? And they scream that they want this specific chocolate. And you give them this chocolate and they eat like a tiny little piece of it. And that's it. They're done with it. They're bored of it now, so they go and do something else. Whenever this would happen in the house, she would eat the remaining part of whatever the kids were getting, right? So they would open those little bags of chips, they would eat a few pieces, they would leave it open. She was like, oh damn, it's a shame that like the ants are going to come and eat this or whatever. It's a shame this is going to go to waste and we're going to throw it out. So I'm just gonna like snack on it for a bit. And then she would eat everything behind them and she just got fat as fuck. She actually managed to lose kilograms before this because she was in a dieting program, and then she managed to gain them during babysitting. But she never counted babysitting food as a meal. It was always like, you know, oh, they leave a few pieces of chips there, a few pieces of chocolate there, they leave some soda here. It's always like... Hey, fuck, I didn't count in my work days for a while. I'm actually on like a bit more, but still. Still, okay. We gotta do celebrations for 25. It's 600 is the total. Approximately the total, okay? That's what I know. What is Omad? What is Omad? Donald Trump? Wait, you're talking about Donald Trump? What did Donald Trump do? Clips Trump has been dumping on his social platform. Can you look at them if you don't have the account? Oh, this is a weird... 6.4 million? That many people use through social? Who the fuck uses this person? I would always finish my little sister's food that she never finished. but I didn't get fat because I was young too. Ah, could be that, could be that. Hey, beer actually does have lots of calories. I remember one day reading this advice blog post on like how to lose calories as a young person. And one of the advice was that if you like going out to drink, don't drink beer, because beer has lots of calories in it. If you like going out to drink, drink vodka or something, because it has way less calories. But like beer fucking just fattens you up like a little piggy. Mom, why you eat all the leftovers by yourself? Let's buy a swine. So I would also eat the leftovers after the swine too. Okay, fair. 1 meal a day? Oh, that's just lazy person life. I figured 1 meal a day doesn't work because I'm used to it. So I don't... A lot of these dieting options, like I remember reading at one point of this... how was it? That you don't eat between certain hours. And it's weird to see some people call it a diet. Because personally, I just naturally don't eat. I'm just used to that sort of a schedule of not eating for a bit even longer, right? Intermittent fasting. Holy shit. Yeah, that one. There was like a specific... I remember Tumblr fighting over whether this was starvation mode or not. Because you weren't being... you weren't like eating for a while. But you know what I think the problem is with a lot of these methods? Is that if your system is used to it, there's no point. Like you can be fat on the system. Does that make sense? It works if you are used to eating, like let's say 10 times a day. You're used to eating, right? And then you chunk out 5 times a day, and 5 times a day is left over. Then you're GG. But I think for a lot of people, my aunt included, because she tried a lot of diets and they failed. For a lot of people, they already exist in a very similar system. So it's like you don't eat 10 meals a day and then chunk out 5 of them when you do this fasting. It's like you eat 5 fatty meals a day, and then when you do this fasting, you kick out 1 of them maybe, and then you throw in a snack instead. So it's like still the same thing. So that's I think it's interesting how it all basically boils down to find out a way to lessen your calorie intake, right? That is what all of it boils down to. Just lessen your calorie intake. But then we have figured out these like little funny rules to get different types of people to lessen their calorie intake, because everyone lives a different lifestyle and lives under a different schedule, and the same diet is not gonna work on like 2 people. Beer fills you up, so you could skip a meal. Ooh, I don't know how beer works on you, but like after a few beers, bro, I have never enjoyed a hamburger as much as I've enjoyed it after like half a crate of beers. Never. Like in my existence, never. When I used to be partying during the times of my youth, after partying I would come home and I would make myself the fattiest fucking sandwich ever, bro. Man, it feels like it's the exact opposite for me. It doesn't fill me up though. I think I just piss it out. Wait, vodka has a lot of calories? She was in perfect shape. She would still drink Michelin Ultra beer since it's really low carb. Hey, smart. I need to find low carbs beer. But also be very careful with like diets where you lessen certain foods specifically. Because I know a woman who fucked up her liver because of it. She, until, you know, for the rest of her life, she will be having to drink pills daily because her liver got destroyed. And the worst thing is, I don't even know which diet she used because she refuses to tell anyone. I just know she was on a diet. She did lose kilograms, but her health was going down. I assume it was one of those where you like cut out all the carbs or something, because I heard she tried something similar before and thought it worked. So, Why do they recommend vodka then? Is it because you drink less of it to get drunk? So it's like if you drink beers, you're gonna drink like, I don't know, 5 beers and be happy because beers are tasty. But then you drink 5 beers, so it's like 5 times the amount of alcohol, amount of calories in one beer, and that's a lot. But if you drink vodka when you're out, you're going to drink like what, a shot? 2 shots? How many shots of vodka can a person take? Beer weed munchies is next level, bro. Popcorn, watermelon, eggs, apple, cottage cheese. I just figured, I wanted to say that like most of these are fruity stuff and I don't really eat fruity stuff when I want to have a snack, but like cottage cheese, eggs, wait, are eggs not quite high in calories? Am I wrong on that? Well, like cottage cheese and Greek yogurt, holy shit, I should start eating those as a snack, because I love those. I just never really thought about them as a low-calorie option. I always think about fruit as a low-calorie option, but then I just never eat fruit. I'm not a fruit eater. I'm a fruit hater. I despise fruit. Fruit must be going extinct. What? Wait, Trump. I wanted to find Trump's. Trump's clips. Truth ads. Ron DeSantis fell to the 3rd place behind this idiot. Oh, these clips.
Why does Fox News constantly put on slow-thinking and lethargic Bill Barr, who didn't have the courage or stamina to fight the radical left lunatics while he was the Attorney General of the United States, and who, even more importantly, refused to fight election fraud, of which...
But I don't know who Bill Barr is. Give me something like this. I know who Republicans are.
Republican district attorneys and attorney generals throughout the country are closely watching the tremendous weaponization of justice.
Why he talks like...
against me. There's never been anything like it. But you ought to
He's
watch.
A very teeth person.
Frankly, it's an eye for an eye, or it's fire with fire. What they're doing to our country is amazing. So Republicans, I hope you're watching.
I don't know who this is. I've seen something about this. Oh, Crooked Joe.
We have a Department of Injustice rigging the election for Crooked Joe Biden. Unless it is quickly stopped, all future elections will follow the same path. Our country is heading down a very, very dangerous road, and it has to stop. These are very dishonest people we're dealing with. We have to make our country great again. And if our elections are going to be rigged, or if they're going to use weaponization...
Hey, to be fair, I've seen some people say... Wait, does he have something on Ukraine? I've seen some people say that Vivek is only popular on social media. So yeah, I don't know how true that is. Well, I'm trying to find if he has something on Ukraine. I will appeal. Oh, how many did he make? He's brown, no way he's winning. One time in history, you're like, damn, the Republicans are really fucking racist. At least they won't pick that idiot to lead them then. Because, oh bro, is he stupid as shit. Holy crap. COVID? Bro, 22 hours ago he made a video about COVID.
Lunatics are trying very hard to bring back COVID lockdowns and mandates with all of their sudden fear-mongering about the new variants that are coming. Gee whiz, you know what else is coming? An election. They want to restart the COVID hysteria so they can justify more lockdowns, more censorship, more illegal drop boxes, more mail-in ballots, and trillions of dollars in payoffs to their political allies heading into the 2024 election. Does that sound familiar? These are bad people. These are sick people we're dealing with. But to every COVID tyrant who wants to take away our freedom, hear these words: we will not comply. So don't even think about it. We will not shut down our schools. We will not accept your lockdowns. We will not abide by your mask mandates. And we will not tolerate your vaccine mandates. They rigged the 2020 election, and now they're trying to do the same thing all over again by rigging the most important election in the history of our country, the 2024 election, even if it means trying to bring back COVID.
Why is that one the most important one in the history of the country? Why is that one? Oh, I take on what? Why is that one the most important one? Does it have erotic or adult imagery? Oh, it doesn't. Erotic or adult imagery. And it's this. Sexy indeed. Oh, yeah, fucking based, okay? Actually what we deserve. You may not know, but this is Croatia in 10 years if everything goes according to plan, okay? Don't tell everyone else that we have successfully apparently occupied. Wait, with Smash? I know, right? Come on. Rogoznica? Rogoznica? Fucking Rogoznica. What the fuck is Rogoznica? Knin. Šibenik. This is where it is. This is where it is. This is where the headquarters are. Ah, okay. Fair. Quite far away from all parts of Croatia that matter, but that's okay. Wait. We gotta call it. We're gonna name it after one of our kings. Who was the first Croatian king? Borna. We're gonna name it after Borna. Bornoselo or something. Bornograd. Tomislav Paul. Oh shit. Bro, an average Croatian ain't able to say vn. We're not a vn type of a nation. We are vr type of a nation. We are r focused. Tomislavgrad. That could work. Tsaringrad? Tsaringrad would be like tsar. Because in Croatian, tsar is just tsar. It's like this, tsar, and this is tsar. It's the emperor? Tsar. So it's like Tsarigrad would be emperor's city, because Grad is the city. So that one could work. We could steal that one. Yeah, I guess that one would be the easiest one. That one would be the easiest, also the shortest. Tsar Biden. But excuse me, Biden is the king. A daddy. Sometimes I miss the names. Choigu. Gerasimov. Man, rip to Prigozhin, he will not be missed. Talking about Prigozhin, we gotta go back to Russia. Holy shit, I will not get to show you any of my videos again. And I still have stuff saved on on digital politics. The memories. Hey, by the way, guys, talking about memories of that useless fucktard. Have you seen the news about Girkin? Have you seen the news about Girkin wanting to be the next president of Russia? Because there was news that Girkin wanted to be the next president. Apparently, it was a troll post, because he wrote something about Putin being too... What was it? Too old? Too something? too kind, too forgiving, and I think then he puts too fit or something like that, as like haha a joke, pick me, because I'm fat and cruel, I guess. But I thought it was an interesting thing. I don't know if Vexler talked about this. I haven't seen him talk about it. I would love to hear his opinion, because I'm seeing a lot of people say that this is giving a reason to for Putin to kill Girkin, and I don't see it. I don't see it. I'm thinking the exact opposite, actually. I'm thinking that Girkin saying he wants to become the leader of Russia, I think it puts him more into the position very similar to that of Navalny, which is basically him choosing to be controlled opposition. That's what it feels like he's doing. Because, like, look at it from Putin's perspective, right? When you look at Putin's critics in Russia, you have two groups, let's say, that are criticizing him. One of them being the so-called progressives, which are people who like Navalny, right? They are people who look at Navalny and they think Navalny is their next true leader. And also I have a great thread saved on this, I have to show it to you. But when you think about progressives in Russia who oppose Putin, they go towards Navalny. But Navalny, lately, especially his Twitter account, which we don't know who is controlling, Navalny is playing the role of planned opposition. Because Navalny team constantly is doing useless fucking shit. They're doing worthless bullshit. They are trending hashtags, they are shining hashtags on buildings, they're making stupid ass videos no one really cares about, right? They are useless, but people join the cause anyways because they want to be opposition. So you cosplay as opposition, but you're not actually opposition, because with their stupid little hashtags and stupid little light shows around and stupid little protests in countries for Navalny's birthday, they're doing nothing to actually threaten the regime. They're doing nothing to actually release Navalny out of prison. They're doing nothing, but they think they're doing something, and because they think they're doing something, they're not actually trying to be useful, right? Navalny team itself is planned opposition. And I think Girkin now is doing the same thing on the other side. In the same way that Navalny team gathers the progressives to keep them useless, Girkin, I think, is going to be collecting the ultranationalists. Because they're going to rally behind him and they're going to be like, yes, we support this opposition to Putin because we want Putin out of power. We're going to support Girkin. We are a Girkin team right now. And he's just going to keep them useless. He is going to keep them absolutely fucking worthless. He already started with his little troll thing with like, I wanna be the president of Russia. Putin simply too fit to be the president. And like now what you're going to see is these nationalists retweeting that shit, sharing that shit around on Telegram, being like Girkin for president. He's not actually trying to be the president. He's in fucking jail, my dude. He can't even become the president, right? But they're going to think they're doing something. And because they think they're doing something, they will not actually be doing something useful. I don't think Putin's gonna kill him. I don't know why so many people are guessing that Putin's gonna kill him. I genuinely don't think Putin's gonna kill him. I think this benefits Putin because it keeps him useless. Cardboard opposition, like made of paper? I guess that's a good way to say it. Yeah. I just call them cosplay opposition, but I guess cardboard opposition is even a better way to say it, right? Shaking rolls. Blat though, I say blat. Do they even vote over that? They do. They do vote, but there's no proper democracy. So the voting is a Now that we are talking about cosplay opposition, actually, I feel like voting is also like one part of this. Voting is a part of this, isn't it? It's also there. That's why he's keeping the fucking elections. It's to give them the illusion of doing something. That feels to be like... That feels to be the reason for it. He's keeping the elections, even though we all know the elections are not actually real. He's keeping them, because you will come out to the elections, and you will think you did something by voting. And then you will not actually do something. You won't go and make Molotovs and chunk them on government buildings. Instead, you will go out and you will vote for the opposition. And then the votes are going to be counted, and Putin's gonna be again getting 130% of votes. But you'll be like, yeah, I did something, because I went out and voted. So that was my opposition action for this month. So until next month, I can chill and I can feel happy about what I did to make Russia great again. And then next month, you go and you retweet a Free Navalny hashtag. And you're like, okay, this is my opposition act for today. I am a good Russian, because I retweeted a Free Navalny hashtag. Just... makes fucking sense, my dude. Makes fucking sense. Nice, nice, nice. I really, really wonder what Vlad Wexler has to say about this, though, because I usually trust his, I usually trust his opinions on these things, my man. Sounds like what everyone does in the US. Yeah, similar, I would guess. Yeah, 6:22. Tucker. I don't want Tucker, I want Girkin. Real reason Putin killed Prigozhin? No. I want Girkin. I don't want these other conversations. Chat channel. Orban, Prigozhin. None of these are things I want to know. But in US, I feel like USA actually... You people have proper democracy. So I feel because of that, it's inherently different when you go out to vote and when someone else goes, and when Russians go out to vote, right? I feel that may be the difference there. Because when you go out to vote in a regime that doesn't really count your vote, you are pretending to be voting, but you're not actually voting, you're just playing along. You go out to the elections, you circle a person, you know no one's gonna count this vote as a vote for the actual person. The government knows that you know that no one's gonna count this vote, you're still coming out anyways because you're pretending to be opposition enough, right? In USA though, you do have power with voting, you're not that inherently useless. It's not such a waste of time, the action itself. But also I do see how a lot of people just do activism online and don't do a single thing, which actually matters, right? It's like and praise God every single day. Praise God every single day for this, okay? But it's basically what online communists are doing. And yet love them for it. Okay, they're fucking useless IRL, because their idea of activism is going out and bitching on Twitter. Going out and making streams where you bitch about capitalism to other communists, right? That's the entirety of the activism that they're actually doing. They don't have any proper political parties to represent them. They don't have any sort of real representation anywhere where it would matter. It's a good thing for us that they're so useless, but it's also like a cosplay opposition to the system, isn't it? You're not actually opposition to the system. You're not actually doing shit. You're not actually organizing anything. You're not actually creating a change. You just think you are. Because you're playing along. Oh. Wagner? Avenging Prigozhin? Sure. I'm pretty sure when it comes to Wagner, when it comes to an average Wagner person, no joke, like if you look at Grisha, for example, I feel Grisha is a perfect representation. If Grisha right now walked into his house and if he saw Putin right there fucking his mom right in the ass, Grisha would figure out a way to blame this on NATO. And that would be it. Okay, there's no avenging happening. The only thing that will happen regarding Wagner and Prigozhin is going to be misplaced anger. Like we saw again with Grisha threatening that Ukraine is going to see more missiles rain on them. And it's because they're pussies and they don't dare to point out to where the actual problem is. We all know who killed Prigozhin. It's just that admitting who killed Prigozhin in Russia takes a bit of balls. And they don't really have any. Inherently, when you're born without balls, it's hard to do this. So it's easier to go and hate on Ukrainians, because they're easy targets, aren't they? It's easy to go and be like, oh, these damn Ukrainians, oh, we're gonna chunk missiles at them, oh, we're gonna burn the entire country down, oh, we're gonna destroy their cities. It's easy, because first of all, as a Wagner member, it's not like you're playing any part in this. Second off, your country is already doing that, so you don't have to play any part in this. It's already happening because your country is a genocidal shithole. It's an easy choice to take. It's really, really fucking hard to go and say, hey, you know what? I actually know who did this. I know it was Putin. I know he doesn't forgive betrayal. And I'm going to do something about this to actually avenge Prigozhin. Even if doing something about this means making people figure out what a maniac is leading this country. The ones who say get rid of money and the state and border, but people form borders naturally, as seen with street gang, for example. And it's also formed by topography, and even in the absence of money, people will still exchange things. Yeah, people like that, people like that. It's also, think of, I was in a weird part of internet recently, okay? I got into part of internet analyzing prison abolitionists. But think of those people too. Think of how much of Twitter space they're taking, right? Which one of you has never seen a prison abolitionist? You have seen them around fighting about what their supposed system should look like in the future, right? How many of them are actually in your politics? It's zero. It's zero because it's controlled, planned opposition to the system. It is made so you go and follow them and then you stay useless. And then you retweet their stupid ass posts without any sort of reasoning behind it, without any sort of proper policies that they are recommending. None of them has any policies to recommend. None of them has any ideas how to actually change the system. They just tell you stories, and then you share these stories around, and you feel like you're doing something, and you're not. But you feel like you are. And because you feel like you are, you're not actually doing something that matters. Same thing as fucking Navalny team. My man, I'm just growing fucking more disappointed in everything by the hour. Hey, we should figure out a bot to like ban Russian on site. Can we do that? Is there a chance to do that? But so he doesn't. I don't want him to ban Cyrillics. I don't want him to ban Cyrillics. I want him to figure out specific language markers for Russian. Can I do that? Can someone make that? Can we figure that out? Grisha was interviewed on German national TV that he wants to nuke Ukraine. When you say German national TV, why was it allowed to show a person who wants to nuke Ukraine? Was he interviewed in a way to be like, look at this little idiot from Russia? Or was he interviewed in a way to be like, whoa, look at this brave little man volunteering to fight for his country? Since that one's Supreme Court, that there is more control what they can do locally and get away from the Fed as possible. Oh, nice. Oh, nice. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's great. I remember Dylan also talking about this. That was one of the first streams of his that I've seen. When he talked about how most Americans, like, they will be bitching about who is their president, for example, and they will be bitching about who they're choosing as the president of the country, right? But it's weird that the same people very, very involved in conversations about who is going to be the president of the country and how presidential campaigns are going and everything, a lot of them have no idea who is representing them on a local level. It's like you are very, very involved in something that is very fucking far away from you locally, and that you can influence a lot less that you can influence elections locally, right? But you are engaged in this thing and you're not engaged in a thing that you can actually strongly influence, because you can always have much stronger influence on a smaller community around you than you can have on the whole fucking state of USA, right? So I do think it's very, very impressive Americans are going to turn more local. I think that's fucking great for you. Not a lot of Wagner around anymore. They will not be missed. Hey, Maniac, thank you for the sub. Thank you. Report on how deluded Russians are and cry about Prigozhin was definitely a bit too neutral and not enough Russophobe. Oh, can you find it? No. No, I just wrote Grisha on German TV. I'm not finding Grisha on German TV. I'm not finding anything there. Not much media to read about local politics if you're in a small town. I see that. I see that as a valid problem. Yeah. That seems because like I have a similar problem here with local government, and it's like on a fucking village level, and there's like 200 people in the village, right? Logically, it should be very, very easy for me to influence people on a local level for who they are voting for. But on the other hand, it's very fucking hard to follow what politicians here are doing. Very goddamn fucking hard. We have a government website, local government website, right? Which is not updated at all. It hasn't been updated since like what, 2006 or whatever the shit. They never tell you what they're doing. They never tell you how they're doing it. You're supposed to like go there IRL to hear their explanations because they can't use the fucking internet at all. They don't have... They didn't express opinions on a lot of state matters because state matters didn't concern them. So in a lot of situations, when you go out to vote, you don't really know who exactly you will be voting for because you don't know what their views are on a lot of topics. Like right now, for example, I think in 2024 we are supposed to have next like local elections, right? I still don't know some of their opinions on Ukraine. I still don't know what I think about Ukraine. I do know, for example, specifically one of them, he was a defender of Croatia during our war. And thus I know that he is very, very supportive of Ukrainians right now. But when it comes to like most of the other ones, I've got no idea. And especially when it comes to the older ones, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what their position is. And it's extremely, extremely hard to find it. And then you look at like, you compare it to the presidents, right? And it's very easy to see them do debates and everything because there's more events planned for politicians on a higher position like that. Liberals? How do you define liberals? Why would you be happy about not having liberals? What do you think liberals are? Wagner were the only Russians that actually know how to fight. And now Russians kill their leader and they are all either fucking off to Belarus or switching to Ukrainian side. The best thing is though, what I figured, I don't know how much they knew how to fight and how much they were just properly equipped by Prigozhin. Because I've seen lots of reports, that man was almost impressive. when it comes to that. He was getting a lot of cash money and he was giving a lot of cash money to Wagner. But it reminds me of that one time when Wagner troops met NATO troops and got shit smoked out of their asses. So I don't really know how much they knew how to fight and how much they were good as well-equipped war criminals. Kind of like how, you know, how we thought that Russian military was really, really good, like second best military in the world. But it turns out they are really, really good when it comes to, you know, going into Chechnya and raping everyone around. Or going into Georgia and doing ethnic cleansing of civilians. Going into Crimea and drowning fucking Tatars. Right? It's like, ooh, they managed to win all of the battles that they start. Wow! And then you look into who they're actually battling and you're like, huh. So you're not fighting an organized military of another country. You're sending well-equipped paramilitary troops to butcher civilians. That is the victory you got. And for Wagner, like, I'm not sure how much they were good at fighting and how much they were good at butchering civilians. Is basically what I'm trying to say. And I don't know. Like, were they actually good at fighting, or did they just have weapons that civilians couldn't dream about? Liberals bad because they don't want imperialism and don't hate LGBT propaganda. Oh, liberals bad because global homo. True. Wagner leaders were throwing bitch fits at Russia for lack of ammo. Yeah, that too. But they don't have Air Force. Sorry, they had air defense, but didn't have Air Force. Engagement with USA. Okay. Yeah. Fair. Kadirovitz? Video on Kadirovitz. What I saw about Kadirovitz was mostly just them embarrassing themselves on TikTok. Yeah, that's as much as I know about them. TikTok fucking military. By the way, what is it with Wagner though? Because I've seen... Wait, I'm gonna watch you later. I've seen some people claim that Wagner is gone. But then I've seen some other people say that it is not gone, it is just going to be under a new leader. Their planes are looking like their leader. Fucking roasted. Who roasted their planes on a barbecue?
So there is a new history.
Does he have a new fucking tattoo? Does he have a new fucking hairstyle? Is that the old hairstyle? Oh, veterans, ex-military guys. Oh, so they were properly trained and I'm properly equipped. So it's like scary plus scary equals double scary. That makes sense. That makes sense. So like proper veterans as like actual soldiers, and then as cannon fodder they have guys they got from prisons. That seems to be quite logical, isn't it? Yeah, like, send the prisoners out there. Who the fuck is gonna miss them? No one. Belarus section? Now the ones that want revenge for the leader's death are joining Ukraine's side. Wait, did we have reports of some of them joining Ukraine's side? I saw them being invited to join Ukraine. I didn't see them actually do that. I would be rather impressed if they had the balls to do something like that. Not from the fact that they are inherently Russians and that their balls are tiny. I'm seeing... Maybe it's true. Maybe it's true. Could be. I wouldn't be too surprised if they were pissed off. Wagner Group fighters face hard times due to being expelled from Ukraine and squeezed out of Africa and Middle East. Leaked audio messages advise them to find alternative work in face of competition from the Russian MOD and National Guard. Following Yevgeny Prigozhin's mutiny, thousands of Wagner fighters were sent on a paid vacation in Belarus. Many subsequently returned to Russia. Now their vacations are coming to an end, leaving many Wagner fighters at a loose end. Our employees often ask what to do next. Their holidays are coming to an end. They have to work. Guys, understand the situation is extremely difficult. We have several tens of thousands of trained fighters ready to work and ready to defend the motherland. But due to the known circumstances, we are not allowed in yet. We are forced to look for work in Africa and the Middle East. The situation there is not easy either. I like how they bitch about like, oh, we can't find work. Like, oh, bro, my dream career is to be a paid mercenary to kill civilians around, and it's so hard to find work these days. Have you ever thought about going to work in office? No, not really, not enough killing civilians for my liking. I'll just go to fucking Africa to find a job that allows me to go and kill civilians instead. Pays by other normal military? Yeah, I can imagine that. Definitely. Myanmar is in an 8-way civil war, something that they can go take care of. Yeah, have you seen Mali news today? UN has voted to keep the independent monitoring team in Mali, and Russia vetoed it. Russia vetoed the entire thing. So yeah. Now we don't know what's going to happen. What is this? Independent UN sanctions monitors reported that Mali's troops and foreign security partners, believed to be Russia's Wagner mercenary group, are using violence against women and other grave human rights abuses to spread terror. And 13 Security Council members voted in favor of a resolution to extend the UN sanctions and independent monitoring for another year, and then Russia vetoed it. So now, yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. We'll have to figure out what happens. PMC group, ooh, illegal. But I can imagine they pay really well. I can see that. It's like you're out of the army, you want to do something relatively similar. I can see. Not illegal? Really?
The book for 11th graders in Russia, and it has 400 pages and 600 mentions of the West and the United States. So I'm going to ask Russians if the West is #1 enemy of Russia. Видимо, это враг номер 1 для России. Вот я решил сегодня спросить у россиян. Это враг номер 1?
Конечно, нет. Они хотят отвлечь наше внимание от того, что действительно происходит. И настроить нас против одного врага, чтобы объединить. Что-то такое. Должна быть какая-то глобальная цель, мне кажется.
Вот, кстати, давайте я вам покажу.
Unregulated militias. So PMCs fall into the category. Oh, damn.
As Americans say, nothing personal. It's just a business. Говорят американцы. Вы согласны со мной? Вы были в Америке? Я не была. Понятия не имею, что они говорят.
Как говорят американцы, кстати, так и написали. Представляете? Запад — это враг номер 1 для России? Вот для вас, как лично?
Да, пожалуй, так. НАТО, военная угроза от них. Россию они никогда не любили.
Кстати, вот про НАТО, там тоже есть в учебнике. Если бы Украина вступила...
If Ukraine, having joined NATO, provoked a military conflict in Crimea or Donbass, then, on the basis of NATO Charter, Russia would find itself at war with all members of the North Atlantic Bloc, from the United States in England to Germany and France. This will be perhaps the end of civilization. This could not be allowed to happen.
Я не хочу это комментировать, это какая-то ерундень.
Вы как лично считаете, это враг номер один?
Наверное, на данный момент.
Почему?
Это я в политику не лезу, поэтому...
Почему абсолютно большинство граждан России поддержало
Просто-
СВО? Ведь этого...
Я понимаю, о чем вы говорите, но я отказываюсь вам.
Да, что такого?
He wants to say it's because they're stupid.
Как относитесь к
Негативно. Должны быть объективные, они, соответственно, там необъективные данные, к сожалению. В первую очередь нужно именно патриотическое воспитание.
Патриотическое это что значит? Кто такие патриоты?
Любовь к родине.
Кстати. В учебнике это так и написано, то что...
I like how he just pulls out the phone.
Peoples of our West country, like the grandfathers and great-grandfathers, are fighting shoulder to shoulder for good and truth, blowing themselves up together with the enemy, pulling wounded comrades out from under fire, fighting in a burning tank, continuing to the last breath to command the entrusted unit, covering their own from the air. Courage and readiness to lay down one's life for the motherland. This is what has been and is inherent in the Russian and Soviet soldier from century to century.
Готовы отдать жизнь за родину?
Why aren't you in the front line then, you bitch? But hey, do you think when we watch those videos of Russians being launched to the fucking moon when their tanks blow up, do you think they watch those same videos and they're like, look at our soldiers, so fucking brave. They're willing to soar up in the air to defend the motherland. Look at them knowing that they're driving around in old Soviet trash, and yet they choose to continue driving old Soviet trash because they are so brave and so admirable. And they are willing to risk it all to defend the motherland. They're seeing it as something honorable. We're seeing it as like a funny thing. Haha, look at Russian go up. They see it at, whoa, look at one of our own. How incredibly brave of him to get launched millions of miles into the air to defend the motherland. Look at our soldiers being bent like fucking nuggies. And catching bullets from the goon squad. Yeah, but like, ooh. 1420 guys not arrested already. We just commented on it a few streams ago, but the fact he looks like this, plus the fact he is still free, he has to be rich. I'm guessing he is very, very influential. I'm guessing he is the son of someone. Do we know children of all Russian generals? Because this is Putin. Does Putin have some kids that we don't know about? He could be Putin's kid. He has to be the kid of someone high up, okay? First off, you don't look like this in world without getting beaten the fuck up. Look at him. He looks ridiculous. This is a clown-ass looking man, okay? No chance this man was schooled in a proper school. No chance he went to public school. No chance he was surrounded by other kids when he was growing up, okay? He was surrounded by some rich-ass servants who never told him how silly he looks. And this is Putin's kid. Yeah, weird he's not getting beaten on the streets. True. Especially he had the fucking sex tattoo, bro. Come on. There has to be something. There's something. He had plot armor. I'm not sure what plot armor is, but there is something. There is some sort of plot armor. I was talking military lingo we used in the American military, and I used the term square to... Ah, fair. The fucking weirdos. I mean, makes sense. True. Ayo, DB! Makes sense that is the term, though. I see the point of it. DB, how's job going? How is job? How is work? Japanese thought they were cool for running towards a machine gun, looking at it as admirable. Yeah, I guess any single news story about how Russians are pieces of shit, you could spin it around, right? Man. Like with anything, talk about them, I don't know, leaving the corpses of their dead behind, you can probably spin it around as it's them being willing to, for the danger of not being, it's them willing to sacrifice themselves so much that they are aware that their comrades may not be having the ability to drag their bodies out from the line of fire, and they are still accepting this They are accepting this fate. They are accepting the fact that they're going to be left to rot there in the fields of Ukraine forever. They accept this proudly as proud, strong warriors wanting to defend the motherland. And then you're supposed to be like, wow! Man, they're afraid to catch the global homo. Oh shit, it's like that joke. Who made that joke? Which comedian was it who made the joke that, like, if you're in a fight, if a group of people attacks you outside, you should just strip fully naked and no one will want to touch you. So no one is actually going to fight you because no one wants to touch a naked man. It's like that, but with global homo in this. He just die looking like this, no one wants to touch the dude. They're like, hey. You go close to him, you like start seeing rainbows everywhere. Booby trapping, they're that shit. It is very brave that these soldiers were knowing that after they die, their bodies are gonna get filled with mines so they can explode like confetti of horror. They knew this and they chose to do this to themselves for the motherland. Thank you, Russian soldiers, I guess.
Если нужно будет, пойду.
Я думаю, что да. Я недавно вернулся со СВО 1 марта. Именно оттуда. Я был на Донбассе, Луганске, защищал нашу страну.
Strongest Russian
Я
soldier.
считаю, что на самом деле они наш враг номер один в
Terrifying
связи с тем,
little
что в
man.
данный момент происходит. Ну, в деталях вкратце,
You
например,
see this running towards you, what do you do?
санкции, всякое остальное, нам не поставляется много чего. Я думаю, что в принципе нам это и не нужно.
А санкции же они вели как раз из-за СВО.
Да, в связи с этим они это и сделали.
А СВО это они начали?
Я думаю, что да, потому что это очень долго все копилось и накапливалось, учитывая то, что показывали по новостям, и из того, что говорили
Your mama?
там,
Your mama isn't
Украина
accepted.
начала это первыми. Они начали обстреливать Донбасс, Луганск. Зачем? Люди мирные страдают.
Вот такой вот представитель всех народов нашей огромной страны.
Oh yeah, it's this one. We read this one.
Это, конечно, сюр полный абсолютно. Вот. Если фактологически понятно, что государство какую-то политику определенную ведет, и это, в общем, совершенно очевидно. Очень грустно, на самом деле, что учебник истории не про историю в смысле фактов, а про историю в смысле того, как себе правильно мыслить.
Я не знаю, что здесь сказать. Это просто идет пропаганда, да и все. Молодежь-то вроде не тупая.
На них не подействуют эти учебники?
Ну, я думаю, нет.
Для вас это враг номер один?
Я нейтрально отношусь к этому. Я патриот своей страны.
Oh, I love them.
Ну, я люблю Россию.
Oh, this is like the last one. Not the last one, the one there who was like, do you agree that the West is our biggest enemy? And he was like, yes, I do agree. And then the next question was like, how do you stand on this, like politically? And he goes, I'm neutral. It's like, you agree the West is your biggest enemy, but you still think you are neutral. In the same way, she's like, I'm neutral, but I'm a patriot. But you're not neutral, Lan. You're a patriot. You're gonna pick the side of Russia. You're lying to yourself. The second you say you love Russia, that's it. That's it. You know which side you're picking. You're just lying to yourself. It's like, you guys remember that video of that Ukrainian talking to those two Russian girls? Fuck, I wish I need to start saving these links. I need to start saving these links. But this man basically, he had a conversation with Russian girls on this online chatting service, and one of them has a father who is fighting in Wagner. And the dude at one point, he asks her what her political stances are, and she says she's neutral. And then he presses a little bit more about the war, and she starts spewing all the usual Russian propaganda. So, you know, Ukrainians bombing Donbass for 8 years and shit like that. She starts like listing all of it. She believes in all of this, but she still thinks she is neutral. It's all of them are fucking like this.
Говорить, этот лучше, этот круче, а этот плохой, ну, как-то я нейтрально стараюсь относиться.
Now you're picking the side right now. You are in a bad situation right now, and you are picking the side right now.
А, Россия это президент.
Ну, все же зависит от президента, он же глава страны.
Ага. То есть любите президента, получается. Патриот президент. Ну,
Я патриот своей страны. Это плохо?
ну и что
That's
касается...
not what he asked.
В учебнике написано то, что это всегда присуще было русскому солдату.
Возможно. Мне кажется, да.
А те, кто не хотят, они, наверное, западные агенты.
Ну нет, почему? Ну, человек не хочет там пойти погибнуть просто так из-за того, что у кого-то политические терки. Это же нормально.
Нет, я же говорю, меня политика не интересует.
New 8. Is it Germany? I saw Sarah posted about Germany. Was it Germany? No. No.
Я даже не чувствовал запах. Открывай! Открывай! Да пойдем!
Dude, how bad is it?
Фу нахуй, это...
How bad is it? Who tried this? Who tried this? What is it? Send it to Dobson. Ah. nah, I kinda want to. That's how everyone reacts to it. What the fuck is it? Fish? It's fish? Oh, it's fish. Scary little fishy looking things. It's boiled fish? It doesn't look spoiled. Lightly salted fermented Baltic Sea herring. Spoiled because it lacks salt. Oh, lightly salted, so like but they don't put enough of it in. Tastes way better than it smells, but like the smell influences the taste, right? Wasn't there like an experiment you do as kids in school with like tasting some shit and then you can't taste the difference if you don't smell it or something? Also, by the way, I have to run for a second. I drank like a liter of water. Okay, I have to expel it. I'm going to leave you with 1420 and then we have to talk about European Union for a little bit, and also we have to talk about digital politics, which is what I've saved before we leave. Okay, so give me a sec.
Почему не? Ну а если бы вы были в 11 классе, вам бы учитель спросил, там, почему абсолютно большинство граждан России поддержало СВО? Это вопрос учебника. Вы бы что сказали? Я не интересуюсь политикой.
Да, абсолютно верно.
Ну это пятерка была бы, наверное. В Украине нужно помнить, что есть фейки. В общем, вот вкратце то, что...
And also, when you learn on the internet any information about the situation in Ukraine, remember, the world industry that generates fakes, fake videos, fake photos works 24/7. Western media and socials dominate in the world information space, and they enthusiastically generate all sorts of fakes. That's why be cautious. Think, why do they publish such news and who get their money from? Who does opposition influencers, popular bloggers and so on work for? Think, and then you won't fall victim to cheap manipulation. And we have a question. Why did the absolute majority of Russians support the special military operation?
Вот и вопрос следующий. Почему абсолютное большинство граждан России поддержало СВО? Вот.
Я не знаю, как это комментировать.
Представляете, вот в учебнике там можно такое... Вот люди в классе, видимо, могут обсуждать это, а в России нельзя это обсуждать, наверное.
Нет, совсем рассчитано на зомбированных людей, которые смотрят телевизор, вот, и по сути все равно мы отвечаем за своих детей, родителей. Вот, и надо фильтровать образование в любом случае.
Сказать, вот со своей точки зрения, это враг номер один для России или нет?
Да, абсолютно верно. Читайте историю, посмотрите, что происходило все это время между нашими странами, дипломатические отношения и так далее.
А вот можете рассказать подробнее вот для тех, кто не знает, почему они враг, что они делают?
Ну, как, во-первых, все страны, не все, большинство стран под их игом находятся. Столько войн они сделали, столько людей погибло, что и их сейчас политика, это вообще просто ни в какие рамки не лезет уже.
В общем, там, давайте я вам приведу примеры вот с этого учебника. Там сказано, что Запад устраивал провокации в Чехии.
Who is licking who? What are the licking messages? Who is getting licked?
That's why Soviet tanks went to Czechoslovakia.
Ну это естественно, это
Из-за этого пришлось вести войска.
естественно, да.
Ну и вот, и давайте вот последнее вам приведу. Подобная изуверская тактика.
Such mutilating
That's what a
tactics
slut
have
would
never
say.
before been used on their own territory by any army of the world in history. You're adults now, dear high school students. Draw the conclusions from Ukraine's new military tactics.
Конечно, кассетные бомбы сейчас, что это такое? Истребление народа идет и все.
Ну, в общем, вы, кажется, одобряете этот учебник. По крайней мере, впечатление хорошее.
Да, мне так
So you're
кажется,
using nasty
потому
bombs
что
now?
дети должны все-таки знать, а не ходить все в розовых.
Who's this
Как говорят
idiot?
американцы, ничего личного, это просто бизнес.
Нет, ну это пропаганда, понимаете, как бы все это понятное дело, что по сути так оно и есть.
В учебнике истории
Но в
прям
учебнике
написано.
истории для детей этого быть не должно, я считаю.
It's
Люди
clearly
должны сами
propaganda, but
формировать свое
also it
мнение,
is how it is.
Слушай, изначально ты понимаешь, что ты живешь в стране военных. Типа твой прадедушка однажды пошел в армию 14 лет. Типа у тебя это в крови. Ты реагируешь на все, что происходит. То есть ты это делаешь не потому, что там Владимир Владимирович проснулся утром такой, типа, а давай ебанем. Типа это, ну, что-то все-таки в каком-то, ну, это было, типа, раз, два, три, четыре, пять, шесть, семь, восемь, девять.
Это вы цитируете учебник истории? Какой-то параграф?
Я понял. Не. Я просто говорю, почему ты начал говорить про НАТО, Украину, я просто немножко дополнил ситуацию.
Fun thing to ask them would be if their great-great-grandfather went into the military, and we assume that Russians have practiced the exactly same military tactics as they practice right now, is sucking a dick also in their blood? Because I would assume, following the logic, I would assume there's no point to fight the global homo. You already are global homo, just like by the way you were born.
Ваши слова нужно сюда добавить.
То, что ты просто понимаешь, ты реагируешь.
See?
Диссиденты и
Man
неформалы.
reacts to dicks.
То, что, в общем, это все западные вот эти агенты.
Western media willingly disseminated them and conducted coordinated propaganda campaigns designed to compromise the human rights-defying USSR. At the same time, the desire to
Because
express their
Platya
protest
is
position through the
based.
means of modern art was growing among the creative intelligentsia. The main measure of the success of a particular creative work or event was its coverage in the Western media.
Я на самом деле всегда далека была от политики, я не углублялась. Ну почему до точки? Я, честно говоря, не читаю там эти учебники, я не знаю, что там пишут, вы меня на самом деле удивили. Я даже не знала, что есть такой учебник.
No, it's not about sniffing, it's about licking. Yeah. You gotta follow the topic.
Со стороны Украины,
We don't
со стороны
sniff people
Америки,
around, we're not
каждый
weird.
показывает то, что ему выгодно для своего народа, и как бы думать, что кто-то не врет, это нелогично. И нас обманывают, и их обманывают, не договаривают правду, это же всегда.
Ah,
так было.
sniffage happened.
Пятерку
Sniffage is the
поставил.
first part of it.
Если бы вас учитель истории спросил. Ну вот последний, тут видите, вот почему абсолютно большинство граждан России поддержало СВО после вот этого текста.
Почему большинство, многие против? Ну, либо поддерживают,
can.
либо давай едь туда, в Европу, поддерживай их, как у нас это модно говорить.
У нас только такие два выбора, да, вроде?
Да, ну как бы...
NATO Sniffing Brigade. And they had some new deliveries.
Сказать, что он против, и что, его типа закроешь, или что?
Third base is better than the top sense. Ooh.
Кто вот у нас в стране вырастет?
Little pussy ass bitch boy.
Патриоты, естественно.
I still remember his stream where he was like, I would never get blindfolded.
Кто такие?
Ну вот, те, кто должны бороться с фашистами.
Там, кстати, написано то, что отдать жизнь за родину, это всегда было...
Высшее благо. Высшее благо.
Да, чуть ли не так написано,
Тут
да.
Валихал,
Может быть, в чем-то Россия
Wrong
не права,
religion, my
я
dude.
не спорю. Где-то, может быть, перешла какие-то границы, рамки и так далее. Но во всяком случае, я Не думаю, что Россия это сделала по своей какой-то инициативе, что вот ей захотелось, и она пошла и сделала. Нет.
Запад провоцировал, наверное.
Я думаю, что, скорее всего, так и было, да. Что Россия сама по себе не могла, вот там, мне захотелось, и я пошел. Не может такого.
В учебнике так и написано.
I like this though, by the way. I was thinking about this because I talked to a friend about it, and it made me realize how stupid the words are. But like the whole idea that you can like provoke a country into a conflict. There's something so silly about it, about the way you are creating a personification of a country, right? As if a country's decision to start a war isn't a decision made by several fucking high-ranking people in the government, right? As if they don't have to specifically choose the funding for this, as if they don't have to train the military, as if they don't have to prepare the strategies and everything, as if this isn't the work of several fucking possibly thousands of people, the decision to wage a war, the decision to start an invasion. You need a shitload of men to do that. That is not an action that was provoked by some bullshit. It's like they're imagining, you know, Russia and Ukraine as two people, and they're imagining that the relationship of these two people is somehow happening on a much more personal level than it actually happens on like when two countries are influencing each other through their geopolitics. You don't provoke another country into attacking you. That does not fucking happen. That is not a thing that happens. But also, this reminds me, when I was saving these things on USA-Russia meetings, I found a really, really cool thing about it from I think it starts here. Where does it start on? Basically, Bush and then Clinton specifically, for example, he was pushing a lot of a conversation on NATO spreading and on NATO getting more new members. And it's interesting because in every single conversation they had on NATO getting new members, every single conversation he had with Yeltsin, he was like, NATO is going to get new members. We are going to spread more. There is one of them, which is the one where I think it was this one, where he specifically explains it. He's like, dude, we are going to get more members, right? We are going to do that. It doesn't matter what you think about it. This concerns USA safety and it concerns European safety, right? There is no chance that we will not add new members. We will do it. I just want you to be aware that we are doing it. And in one of their last meetings, Yeltsin was like, hey, can we like not allow NATO to get new members soon? Because it's going to make me look really weak in Russia and the elections are incoming. So could we do it after some years when my elections are gone and also your elections are gone, so then we can both have our positions sorted out, right? But at no point was Russia having a single reason to think NATO is not going to spread. Every single conversation they had, NATO was like, yeah. Clinton was like, yeah, like, if you ask me, we are going to get new members. Of course, the process isn't just about USA accepting these members, but I want to get new members. I want to have stronger cooperation with Europe. I think this is important for USA and Europe both, and I want to work towards this. At one point of the conversation, they specifically talk about... where the fuck is it? They specifically talk about why NATO was formed, and they do mention that NATO was formed to defend against the Russians, the Soviets basically. And at the point Clinton goes, hey, do you think that NATO doesn't need to exist? Where is it? Is it here? Is it here? Is it here? They're talking about beer. They're talking about beer. I don't want that. I don't want that. I'm trying to find the specific thing so I don't like misquote it. But they talk about why NATO was formed. This is related but not fully. This is basically they talk about why NATO was formed, and then Clinton is like, despite the fact that we are not currently supposed, we don't really have a reason to defend against the Soviets right now with NATO. Do you not think NATO still has a point of existence, a reason to exist, because it offers benefits to both USA and Europe in terms of security? And Yeltsin goes, no, I don't think NATO has a point to exist. And Clinton goes, well, I disagree with that. I think it does. I think it offers us benefits, and I am letting you know that we will accept new members on our own timeline. And I just kind of... It's almost impressive to me, like how strong he was on this, and how he was never allowing for this illusion that NATO is not going to accept new members. Clinton just kept on constantly being like, no, we're gonna get new members. Like, we're gonna get new members. It's a benefit to us, it's a benefit to them. We're gonna do it, okay? And you will have to just accept the fact that we're gonna do it. There were no lies in the conversation. At no point, truly, did he make a comment to even allude to the idea that NATO is not going to accept new members. At all points they were talking about it accepting new members. They did talk about it possibly also accepting Russia, but it was never said that they will not be spreading more. So, yeah. Should be safe. Oh wait, do we have... Ah shit, I would need translations for like longer videos, if you would watch longer videos. It's Ukrainian TV. Do you think it's safe? Do you think it's safe? It does offer me though like Russian to English when I click on subtitles. I need to wait for someone to do a translation. I need to force someone to do a translation on me. Do you screen share? No, I opened it in another tab because they said it should be stream safe, and I was like, I don't want to click on something and then to get banned off Twitch, okay? If I get banned, I want to be banned for something proper, you know? I want to be banned for hating on someone. Yeah, getting Topsen, yeah. The way Topsen got banned... Okay, depends. I'm not sure how he took it. I'm not sure. I haven't talked to him too much about it, okay? Here's the thing though. If you get banned for saying something hateful, that's okay. If you accept the fact that you said something hateful and you own it up, that's also okay. And you got big balls, right? Because you're willing to admit it. Now, if you get banned for clicking on something stupid, that's kind of already like just dumb. That's a bit dumb, you know? If I get banned, I want to be banned because, you know, I was a bit too Russophobic or something. I don't want to be banned because I clicked on a stupid link. I wouldn't dare to do that. Oh. Fair. Too much hate speech? I think too much is... What? What date is it today? Is tomorrow the 1st? I ordered a package and it was supposed to come next week, and now it's saying that it's going to come on the 1st, which is like tomorrow. Fair. But I don't know, dude. Look, I'm GG with hate speech to a certain extent. Now, you get mail that? A little bit. A little bit. Okay, fair. Mock the village person. Mock the ruler person. Nice. Very, very nice city boy with 2 fucking ACs in the house. He yelled at me when I said Arresto is not the best politician to listen to. I deserve the ban for that. Everything else he said, you know, yeah, wasn't bannable. He yelled at you though. I actually agree with that. I remember one time I came to his chat and he was talking about French people, and I wrote a joke about how their food is shit, and he was like, yeah, their food is actually really good. So I agree that he deserved the ban. Should have been banned sooner. There should be a way to report people for defending the French, and you get an auto ban immediately. Call them dense? Nice. So for saying Azov is a neo-Nazi group, I understand that one though. Azov did get strongly vilified, and I do think it gets misrepresented very, very often. So I could say that. I could see that one. Azov gets a lot of misguided bad press, I wanna say. Yells at me for everything all the time. Yeah, I've kind of noticed that. That was one of the streams. I don't know which one it was, but I felt really, really bad for you. Because like you were actually based. I don't even know what it was. I'm sorry, I don't remember what was the conversation. I remember you being in the chat though. You were in the chat and he was yelling at you, but you were actually correct, but he was yelling at you. Sad, huh? Eh. Fish crab? Hey, listen, I like fish crab, okay? Maybe I like fish crab in the background, okay? There's a baby. You wanna watch a baby? There's Arthur. We have to finish Arthur. Holy shit. But also, I'm like GG with viewer numbers, because we do have to be leaving relatively soonish. Don't think same person will argue about that. But as of... Listen. Know what you like. In the background, everything. I will not even entertain your energy. Asking a question, he answered the stream before I joined. Damn. I was in his stream recently for a while, and I didn't have time to fight with him. But I kinda wanted to fight with him a little bit, because he was. Were you guys on his stream when he was talking about police? I don't know if you were on his stream when he was talking about the police. There was like a clip of police arresting those people. Two, I don't know how many of them. One woman, and then she was resisting arrest, and then in the clip basically. The dude attacks the police people, and I think he, from the way I've seen chat described, because I haven't noticed all the details in the video, but they say that the dude attacked the policewoman and then she's laying down on the ground, and then the policeman gets out the gun and shoots and kills the dude. Like, I've only seen the clip once. I guess he showed it on the stream previously, so he didn't feel like showing it more times, so I can get the context. His opinion was that the police was based. Now, my thing is that it's kind of important to know why they were getting arrested. Right? Because, like, it's a difference. Are you getting arrested because you are a danger to people around you? So you are resisting arrest because you're a piece of shit? Or were you getting arrested for some stupid ass thing? You know, like, I don't think you can make strong opinions, and I think the reason why the chat was having a fight with him at the time is because he was trying very, very desperately to have a strong opinion on this from this like one clip, but you can't. You don't know why they are being arrested. You can't have a strong opinion on this. You don't know what's going on. If you're against the war crimes of Russia, you should be against the war crimes of Azov. No. I never said I'm not against war crimes. No. You are completely changing the thing now. I have said that calling Azov a neo-Nazi group is wrong, and I stand behind that. Because Azov, at the start, Azov was a volunteer battalion. It accepted all kinds of people. Some of them were neo-Nazis. That is true. But like, was it a neo-Nazi group? No. Calling it a neo-Nazi group implies that it was a group made by neo-Nazis for other neo-Nazis, when it was a group for volunteers to fight against Russian invasion. That's the problem with calling Azov a neo-Nazi group, and that is why you get, called a degenerate when you call them a neo-Nazi group. It's because the implication of that is wrong. You can talk about specific cases of where you think Azov did something wrong, and I would be interested in like exactly what are your examples of this. We could talk about that specifically, but like calling them a neo-Nazi group does give out an impression that again it is a group made by neo-Nazis for neo-Nazis, and it isn't. Predetermined opinions on absolutely everything, and you can't change his mind. He knows he's correct since he's the smartest person. I don't know how much I would be characterizing him as a narcissist. I don't know if I'm trying to be like too defensive of the man, but I see what you mean. I need to actually, I'm gonna try, like, I'm gonna go to one of his streams and I'm gonna try to debate the shit out of him just to see what happens. Whenever I catch him, I'm going to disagree. Whatever he says, I'm gonna disagree. Reihatori? Who are these people? If you attack me while I'm on duty and you're getting shot, reason for the arrest would be irrelevant. I could see that. Okay, yeah, military. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I don't know. For me, I was like... Because you know what's the thing? The people getting arrested, they didn't have weapons. Or at least it wasn't shown that they have weapons on themselves, right? The attack on the cop was him, like, pushing a cop to the ground. And, the cop did fall down, and I don't want to minimize the attack. I don't want to minimize what they did to the cop, right? At the same time, I'm like, maybe the cop should have done a bit more to try and control the person before shooting, right? Because, like, you are a cop, you are trained for this shit, right? Probably your first reaction shouldn't be to shoot. Like taser or something. Yeah. Like, you should do that. There's like a list of things you should do before shooting, right? But if the people are getting arrested for a violent act or something, I could see why you would shoot earlier. Does that make sense? I see why you would shoot earlier. I see why you would be like, oh, I'm in presence of a dangerous person. I'm trying to arrest this dangerous person. They are avoiding arrest. Now they have pushed me to the ground, and now they are running away. They are a dangerous person. Who the fuck knows what they're going to do, where they're going to go, right? So you shoot because that is like the fastest way to get them to fucking notice you. You don't shoot to kill. You shoot to, like possibly, I don't know, scare them, harm them. I don't know what you're trying to do. I don't think they were shooting to kill, but it did happen, right? But like in that case, I think there is a difference. Like, are you trying to arrest a dangerous person? Or are you trying to arrest someone for, I don't know, some dumbass, stupid bullshit? I have nothing on my mind apart from those 2 girls in Ukraine who were twerking on soldiers' graves and got arrested and are now facing jail time. Well, like, are you arresting them for something like that? They're not really dangerous, you know? They may be resisting arrest, sure, but like, they're not really dangerous. So, she made money gathering for Russian soldiers. Oh shit! And Twitch allows that. I wonder, how is that not breaking the sanctions? How is that not able to fuck up Twitch? Just, If they can't subdue you with physical force alone, you're getting shot. Yeah, that too. I understand that. Oh, you're not allowed to shoot the disable. Wait, what? Really? Oh, I had no idea about that. I thought that your first in America, or maybe in Croatia, laws are different. Why not? As you can see. Oh yeah, but I assumed those were cops, because they got punished for it, didn't they? Ethnic Russians in Crimea, if they reconquer it, nothing. When it comes to Crimean people who were on Crimea before, nothing. When it comes to Russians who are now imported as people supporting the invasion, as little roaches moving into lands that their military has occupied, they should be deported out. They should be kicked out. They moved into civilian houses, they moved into someone else's homes, they don't belong there, this is not their place. They stole other people's lives. So yeah, if it's about those who were imported in as part of the invasion, kick them out. Just fucking kick them out. I don't even believe they're gonna have to be kicked out, to be completely honest. I don't think they're gonna have to be kicked out, because you know what happened here when we had peaceful integration of these lands? What happened here is Serbs who took our houses, they just left. They just ran out. They heard Croats are coming back to their houses. They knew that when Croats come to their houses and they see Serbs have been living there and pissing on walls and everything, they knew that they're not going to have a good time explaining this to Croats whose houses they stole. So they just ran. The worst thing about it is that there's a lot of abandoned houses right now in the village because the Serbs ran, but Croats never came because a lot of them were killed in the war. A lot of them went out as refugees and then couldn't find a safe place to stay, or wherever they settled wasn't safe at all and they were killed. So there's a lot of abandoned houses right now because Serbs abandoned them when they fled, but Croats never returned to take the houses back, and no one really knows who the house belongs to. Yes, I know it's had nothing to do with NATO. What? But no, deported to Russia. They can go back to Russia. Why would you need to deport them to a camp? They can go back to Mother Russia. That is where they came from in the first place. Skada lives in Denmark. He supports Russia. Should he be kicked out? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I do see all of them, all the people making similar type of content as absolutely Russian agents. Yeah, definitely. Kick him back to Russia too. He wants to be sucking off some Russian cock, he can do it in Russia. Here's an example where just Ukraine army got close, they all flew away like rats. Yeah, that's what they did in Crimea too. When Crimea got hit the first times and there were like the rows of cars on the border waiting to get out of Crimea and to run back into Russia. They're likely going to leave by themselves, nothing will be done to them. Because they know why they were brought to Crimea. They know whose houses they took. Baltics. Yeah, you mean Balkan, yeah. Balkan states, not all Balkan states, former Yugoslav states, tend to hate Serbia because when Yugoslavia was crumbling apart, Serbia was the country trying very, very desperately to keep it standing. So as a country trying very, very desperately to keep it standing, it was willing to send JNA, which was the military of Yugoslavia, it was willing to send it to other republics to force them to stay a part of Yugoslavia. So they had a war with Slovenia, they had a war with Croatia. Kosovo tried to break away, didn't really work, but also Serbia did send the military that too. Bosnia too, of course. Horrible, horrible shit has happened in Bosnia. It was a part of Serbia trying to, if not keep Yugoslavia standing, at least get their dream of greater Serbia. That was a problem. Because Kosovars are fucking based, my dude. Kosovars are amazing. But yeah, that's why we kind of hate Serbia. It's because of what it did to us previously. And then now it is going down a path of liking Russia a bit too much for any sane person's liking. But it's doing it in a very cowardly way. It's doing it in a way similar to Hungary. Now it's like Serbia and Hungary currently are very similar types of governments, in which they beg the West to give them cash money and they beg the West to give them funds, but at the same time they're still trying to be on the side of Russia in this. And of course no one's really a fan of this, because it's a very pussy position to take. It's a really cowardly way to exist. Serbia is a really, really fun example of this, I think, because Vučić, for example, he often alludes to the idea of going the Russian way. One of his officials recently has commented that it would be good to make a union between Orthodox states, which of course he doesn't count Ukraine in, but he does count Russia in it because he wants to be in a union state with Russia and Belarus. So they are trying to move towards Russia, but at the same time they're trying to pretend like they want to get into European Union. So recently a proposal was brought up that maybe West should just stop funding Serbia. Maybe just stop, because like if they want to go to the way of Russia, just go the way of Russia, you know? We will not be giving you any cash money. Russia can give you money if you want them on your side. And Serbs got fucking pissed off because they like getting cash money from the West. They like getting money. They like what West is giving them. They like the benefits that the West is offering. They just want to be against the West because it's a good way to do populism for their populations, and it's a good way to keep the current regime in power. Vučić exists on the idea that he is the anti-West solution, but he is being fed by the West. True. Living like brothers. Yeah, Srebrenica was a good show of brotherly love. Vukovar too was a very, very good brotherly love thing. But also, yeah, do give us links on Azov committing war crimes, please. How was it specifically Azov committing war crimes without getting punished for it? Do give us links for that. I believe you've been avoiding the question for quite a while. By the way, European Union, I have to show you my European Union things, okay? This is European Parliament video from today. I don't know what it is about. I'll just save it. They're doing debates, I guess, soonish. You said 3 religions, 1 people living like brothers. I told you we were not living like brothers. And a very obvious sign of that is Srebrenica. And you're like, Srebrenica was committed by Serbia? Yeah. Serbia was one of the nations in Yugoslavia. Serbia was part of Yugoslavia. Crumbling of Yugoslavia is as much as a part of Yugoslav history as the rest of its existence is.
You got sent to Siberia.
You're making no sense. You can't pretend Yugoslavia only matters when you think about the good parts of Yugoslavia. And even then, talking about the good parts of Yugoslavia, Tito was sending opposition to the regime to Goli Otok. You couldn't question the government. You couldn't question shit. You would be sent to a fucking labor camp. We were not living like brothers in Yugoslavia. We did have a leader that we idolized so much that we were okay with him doing some stupid shit, just in order for him to, you know, keep being a strong-handed man, keeping Balkans united. But like, Yugoslavia gets way, way, way too much credit for what it was. Former USSR is living like brothers, constantly beating the crap out of each other. To be fair, how to say this? When you talk about former USSR state after crumbling of USSR, which ones of them are beating the crap out of each other? Because there's a pattern. Was Tito really that bad? He was quite bad. He was a war criminal. He was quite bad. There's a reason why he's a controversial figure. He had some good parts of his leadership, mainly getting rid of Nazis. That was a good part. The country was somewhat united while he was around. There was also a relatively good part. We didn't have any big wars, big conflicts. But it is not true that Tito was fully a good person with good ideas. In the same way, it is not true that Yugoslavia itself was an amazing country. It had lots of flaws. It's just that saying, it's like the thing with, you know, commenting on Azov very shallowly. It's like that. It's very easy, I think, for foreigners to hear few things about Yugoslavia, just like it's very easy for them to hear few things about Azov, or to hear few things about Ukraine, to hear few things about Balkans, or Baltics, depending. It's very easy to hear few things about any of these topics and then form a very strong opinion based on just that. And I think this is where it comes, you know, this is from where it comes, this situation where people just adore the fuck out of Yugoslavia without knowing Yugoslavian flaws. You're trying to form a very, very strong opinion without knowing anything. You're doing the top 10 with the police clip thing, right? You see a little part of something, you form a strong, strong, strong opinion, and then you just don't accept to get any sort of facts that disagree with it. Because you have your strong, strong, strong opinion. And that's it. Controversial figure with good parts. Thank you. Thank you. I'm very, very happy to hear that. I hope to be a controversial figure with good parts. Some good parts at least. I like that. I like that.
Brought to you by NordVPN. On Wednesday last week, Estonia...
He just starts in the middle of a sentence. Hey, by the way, I wanted to show you stuff about European Union. You have to watch European Union shit with me. And then soon we have to go, okay? But you have to watch Estonia's government. And then you have to watch a video on European rent prices. And then you have to... I don't even know what else I have. I saved the Ukrainian women, but we don't have time for her. But she's doing the video about why Russia may be showing signs of a failed state, which, if you ask me, it already is a failed state, but you know, we are waiting for it to crumble properly.
Estonia's public broadcaster ERR reported that the husband of Prime Minister Kaja Kallas had continued doing business in Russia since the start of Putin's invasion of Ukraine, and that Kallas herself had provided his business with a €350,000 loan. This didn't go down well in Estonia, not least because Kallas has established an international profile as a vocal supporter of Ukraine. And there were even rumours before the scandal that she could end up as NATO's next Secretary General.
Oh shit, I
Callas
remember
claimed that
this.
She wasn't aware of her husband's business dealings and pointed out that he didn't violate any sanctions. But polls suggest that most Estonians still think that she should resign. And at the time of writing, the opposition is making plans for a no-confidence vote in the Estonian parliament. So in this video, we're going to take a
Who's
look
gonna
at what
replace her?
happened, whether Callas can survive, and what might happen next if she's forced out.
Okay. Who is Plan B? We're gonna get a new
let's
mummy.
Straight into it. According to the report, Callas's husband, Arvo Hallik, owns a company called Navaria
Trump.
Consult, which, according to Estonia's business register, provides financial services and
Trump
consulting
himself.
advice. In and of itself, this wouldn't be controversial. But Navaria Consult has a 25% stake in another company called Stark Logistics.
Oh
And
no,
Halleck himself
Ekre.
is both its chief financial officer and a board member. Stark Logistics
Arthur!
is an Estonian company that basically helps
Arthur
other
for NATO,
larger companies with their supply
next
chains, and has continued to
leader.
do business in Russia since Putin's invasion in February of last year. Specifically, Stark has been sending parts to a factory in Russia that produces aerosol cans, as part of a contract that it has with client AS Metaprint, a conglomerate that manufactures metal containers. Both Stark and Metaprint claim they're currently winding down production in Russia, and these recent deliveries are mainly about getting the last bits and bobs out of the country while protecting Estonian jobs. But an Estonian paper last week reported that Stark has earned €1.5 million from serving the factory since the beginning of the war. These revelations have put Estonia's Prime Minister Kaja Kallas under serious political pressure. Kallas has made a name for herself as a vocal supporter of Ukraine and is Estonia's most well-known politician by some distance.
Definitely.
For context, relative to its GDP, Estonia has been the biggest supporter of Ukraine, and the country has taken in an enormous number of Ukrainian migrants. Kallas's government has also banned Russian migrants, taken steps to ban Russian-speaking schools, and removed Soviet-era monuments. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds a little unfair, given it was her husband's business, not hers. But the waters have been muddied by the fact that, last June, her annual declarations to the Estonian
I mean, it
Tax
still
and
makes
Customs
sense,
Board
even if it
revealed
was
that
her
she had lent
husband.
€350,000 to her husband's company. At time of writing, Kallas has said that she wouldn't be resigning. And on Wednesday afternoon, a few hours after the report was published, Kallas went on the attack on social media, stating that, quote, ERR published a news item today suggesting a company connected to my husband was doing business in Russia. I would like to emphasise that my husband has no clients from the Russian Federation. Kallas' husband has also said that he'll be selling all his shares in Stark and stepping down as its CFO and board member. In defending her decision to stay on as PM, Kallas has basically made two arguments. First, she didn't have complete knowledge of her husband's business, and second, that he didn't do anything illegal or violate any sanctions. On Thursday, for instance, Kallas said her husband's business was, quote, in accordance with the laws and sanctions currently imposed. But this hasn't been enough to silence her critics, and the story continued to run over the weekend. On the first point, her critics argue that it's implausible that she didn't know anything about his business dealings, given that she gave him a €350,000 loan. On the second, while it might technically be true that Halleck didn't violate any sanctions, her critics argue that Kallas has nonetheless been hypocritical, both because it's hard to square this with her vocal anti-Russian stance, and because Kallas, in the past, urged other Estonian companies to avoid dealing with Russia, even if their businesses wouldn't be prohibited
Croatian
by
bikini
sanctions.
TD president.
In December, for example, Kallas banned the Estonian state-owned railway company from transporting
You saw
Russian
IRL?
nickel, even though nickel isn't sanctioned, arguing that the
Did you
Estonian
get
state
her
shouldn't
signature?
have any business dealings with Russia or Belarus.
You did that?
Her critics also argue that she hasn't provided a clear response to the allegations. Postimees, a major Estonian newspaper, accused the Prime Minister of being evasive with her answers, arguing in an editorial calling for a resignation that, quote, we didn't get any answers on Wednesday or Thursday, and there's no reason to believe we will hear any on
Nice.
Saturday
Celebrity
or Sunday.
photographer, huh?
Another big Estonian paper also ran an editorial suggesting that Kallas should resign last week, and two separate polls found that a majority of Estonians thought Kallas should quit. Over the weekend, the Baltic News Service reported.
Oh,
the
congratulations,
opposition Centre
DB,
Party
congratulations,
was considering a
congratulations.
no-confidence motion against Kallas,
To be fair,
arguing that the scandal
okay, wait, not to play the devil's advocate, but like the question was on sources for war crimes. They did provide sources on war crimes. I can respect that. Would need to read through the report to see, you know, how Ukraine is dealing with it. But I can see that. The conversation on Azov, though, specifically, is a fully different one, which is what I pointed out when the start of the conversation about war crimes has happened. Holy shit, I wanted to move this one and I moved this one. Is that claiming Azov is a neo-Nazi group is not the same thing as claiming Azov has done war crimes. Therefore, me saying that Azov is not a neo-Nazi group, and I stand behind that, because it is not. It is not. Does it have some Nazis in it? Yeah. Is it a neo-Nazi group? No. Calling it a neo-Nazi group implies that it is a group for fucking neo-Nazis only. That is not what it is. But calling it a neo-Nazi group is wrong. Groups that are not neo-Nazi groups can still be doing war crimes. It's a completely different like conversation. From the start it was like two different talks for some reason. No, you can't say they have a vibe. That's a retarded point. You can't say someone's a neo-Nazi because they have a vibe of being a neo-Nazi. That's bullshit. That's something that a Twitter user would say. That's the energy of seeing someone have a stupid take on somewhere and calling them a fascist because of it. That's just stupidity. Calling someone a neo-Nazi, what's her meaning? Calling someone a neo-Nazi carries a very specific meaning behind those words. We're asking if I should race mix with a non-white woman when I grow up. Yeah, they were based for banning you. It's a stupid ass question. But also you have a history of stupid ass questions, so like, wouldn't be too surprised. Wait, but who? Oh shit, I would need to open it. Let me play.
hurting Estonia's international reputation. Whether or not Kallas can hang on ultimately depends on parliamentary
Only
arithmetic.
Russian organizations.
In March,
I saved
Kallas's
the
Reform
link
Party
to read
will
later. I
have a
didn't
plurality of
try to
37
open it.
seats in Estonia's 101-seat parliament, and then formed a coalition with two smaller parties, Estonia 200 and the Social Democrats, which have 14 and 9 seats respectively. In practice, this means that Kallas currently has a 60-seat majority, but if E200 withdraw their support, she'll be unlikely to survive a no-confidence vote. If the Social Democrats withdraw their support, then she might be able to, but she'll have a razor-thin 51-seat
Yeah,
majority.
it was a stupid question,
Even if one of
Spicy.
her MPs votes against her, she'd lose. Worryingly for Kallas, on Monday, Ala Karis, the leader of the Social Democrats, expressed concern that the scandal was hurting Estonia's credibility, and that the business activities of Prime Minister Kaja Kallas's family members vis-à-vis Russia have raised many questions in the media and in society, and have put the spotlight on the head of the government and the values that Estonia must follow. If Kallas does resign, then this will really shake up Estonian politics.
Bro,
And
Azov,
chances are that her reform
that's just
party
a
will be
stupid question. Azov does not plan to go and invade any other country. Azov wants to be defending Ukraine and Ukraine only. There's no reason why we should be fearing Azov. Azov doesn't want to invade us. They have never made any claim alleging that they want to invade us. They have never in any way presented themselves as danger to other European states. We have no reason to be afraid of them. There's absolutely no reason to be afraid of Azov if you're in another European fucking country. If you're in Russia, then that's a question, because you likely will get drafted and you likely will get sent to the front line and you likely will meet Ukrainian defenders and get fucked in the ass. But if you're in some other European country, why the fuck would you fear Azov? They don't want to go abroad. They don't want to go invade other countries. It's a stupid ass fucking question. They're not a threat to us. You know what people in Europe are fucking scared though of? You know what we are scared of? Russia being able to take over Ukraine, and then who the fuck knows where it's gonna go next? Because we already allowed them to be taking parts of Georgia, and they just happened to move over. We already have evidence of them tampering with our democracy. Like just at the start of the stream we talked about this, which I'm kind of disappointed that we in Croatia didn't have more conversations about this. We really need to force this to be into public space more. But bro, we have evidence of Russia supporting specific politicians in Croatia. We have evidence of them choosing to support industries which are acting as Russian agents. That is what we're fucking scared of. Not random ass Azov officers trying to defend Ukraine from Russian invasion. They're posing us no danger. They just want Russians to get the fuck out of Ukraine.
Preceded by either EKRE or Centre, the second and third largest parties at the moment, which are both significantly less pro-Ukraine. For context, EKRE opposes sending any more arms to Ukraine or taking in any more Ukrainian migrants. And their leader made headlines in April when he claimed that Ukrainian refugees would bring AIDS into Estonia because they'd end up as prostitutes. Similarly, the Centre Party has traditionally polled well with Estonia's ethnic Russian minority, which accounts for about 25% of Estonia's population, and they would likely reduce support for Ukraine. Clearly, Estonia's current crisis affects not just Kallas, but also the West's unity on Ukraine. Following stories and doing independent journalism often requires a fair bit of travel.
Yeah, I don't want the extra, But yeah, fucking concerning, okay? Concerning, Estonia has given a lot of aid, so doesn't happen, doesn't mean the end of coalition. I am quite concerned. I am hoping though at the time this actually starts to have a strong influence on European politics. I am hoping we have other very, very strong players around. So Estonia will be kind of pushed to behave as a normal country and will be pushed to keep supporting Ukraine regardless. But oof. Basic language. Oh. What are we talking about? Oh, it's a conversation about Russian speakers in Ukraine. I mean, my favorite thing about that stupid ass propaganda point is how Anastasia gets pissed the fuck off every time it's brought up in her presence. That is the only reason like why I find it somewhat interesting in conversations. She gets so angry, and she gets very angry for very, very good reasons, right? But Russian-speaking Ukrainians have been used by propaganda for such a long ass time, and it's just my bitch ass boyfriend. My bitch ass boyfriend is not streaming. He's not a streamer. Who is streaming? Who did you see go live? Who did you see go live? I do have to leave. I had to leave like half an hour ago. I don't know why we stayed this long. I'm probably sleepy as shit. Who is this? Okay, fair. Hey, we got Woke Potato streaming. We could go to Woke Potato here. Ah, you're talking about it. Wait, Thompson? He's not my dude, my bitch ass boyfriend. Ish, 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 ish. Ish, ish, ish. My actual boyfriend gonna get jealous of me watching a balding tiny man. I have to let him know. I have to update him on the situation so he doesn't come into chat and get shocked. I resemble that remark. Damn. You and Thompson, sometimes I can't tell you apart. Clipped. Oh shit. No. Hey, but like look. Have you seen that clip of his? That clip of his in which he was it in his Hassan video where Hassan talks about someone being a balding little man and then he just cuts to Thompson? I thought that was the funniest joke ever. I replayed that while recently. That was so funny. Step out from the shadows. He's probably playing DRG or League of Legends, depending if he wants to be depressed as shit or not. You never know with men. Let me start a raid though. I have to go, my dude. I have to go. Depending on where you depends on the perspective. Probably not balding either, depends on the perspective. Hey, by the way, listen. I'm going to eat now. I'm going to grab some food. I made some really good lunches. So I'm planning... Where's my cake? I'm planning to heat up some food. I'm planning to be happy. And then what I want to do is continue updating my Patreon thing. So currently what I need to... Shut the fuck up. Currently what I need to update it with is Croatia-Russia summit. Wait, you're bald because you're shaving? You're not bald because you're bald? Are you? Are you bald because you're bald, or are you bald because you're not bald? Oh, what, really? Ooh, I didn't even notice. Yeah, look, I'm a cop lover, okay? I disagree with him on that. You can debate it, dude. I'm a fan of cops. I don't know if it's because we have normal cops in Croatia, what it is. I'm just a fan of cops. I think they're chill. I think they're good. I think we need them. Yeah, but I don't know his opinions, to be completely fair. Cops base though, raid in 5 seconds. See you tomorrow. Stay strong, stay healthy.